Yeah, you gotta get coached by the Koreans. They're the only ones. Actually, due to the like Smash connections, I actually got like the like most. I think that's actually like the most optimal VOD review to learn ball as quickly as possible. It was like VOD review, my replay code from like a match or a scrim or something with Junbin and D0NGHAK and Smash, like all together like, collectively.
Council.
That's insane, actually.
VOD reviewing my gameplay, you know. I'm just sitting there. Oh, what did I do here? Oh no, I rolled into the wall. Shit, they're gonna see this and think I'm so fucking bad. Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like every time we play against these big teams, honestly, anything can happen. You're like, we could easily lose that series. To be honest, like it's really possible with like slightly better bans or decision makings. The same with the Team Liquid one we had earlier in the season. You know, like I can make such an easy argument that when we got 99% and we're 2-2 on Suravasa and we have wall and beat and they have no ults, that there's actually a really easy way to win that map. You know, it feels like we're in a good position.
I see it.
Are you guys insane at Ilios, Ice?
No.
I'm
like handless on that map.
Really?
We always lose Ilios in every scrim against every team.
Really?
If we boot Ilios up against Gen.G, we're just getting shit on.
No way. That's insane.
Yeah, sure. We even lost it to Team Liquid in scrim as well. Yeah, it's a ball map, but I don't like something about.
I need like Diva, isn't it like the?
I need like another. Yeah, I need like a VOD review with Junbin on that map or something.
Get the council. Get the council.
Yeah, I need the council on that one. Like I'm just lost on that map. I don't really know.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 43 of Uncoachable. We're back. It's been a hot second, so there's a lot to catch up on. We're going to do a sort of preview of playoffs / an entire catch-up of everything that happened in the regular season, because it's been quite a while. We have a very special guest today. We have Ice from Virtus.pro. Welcome, Ice. How are we?
Hello, doing good.
I thought we'd start by talking about VP since you've come here, but I wonder if you could sort of take us back in time a little and tell us about joining VP, going out to the team house. What was that sort of experience like in that sort of PEPS to VP journey?
Yeah, I really didn't expect to get picked up to VP. I already had like signed the contract with PEPS for stage 2 because it was like very much last minute that like Smash just slid into my DMs and I was like super shocked. Kind of thought he was trolling at first or something. Like I don't know, couldn't really didn't really like read it too well, but I had no idea like that was coming. So yeah, and then like pretty shortly after that, already went to the like team house in Serbia. It was kind of like apartments. I thought it was gonna be like a house, but just like apartment. With like a PC room, I guess. So it was like really big change from the like level of play as well, obviously having to adapt and like coming into the new team.
Was it easy to fit in? Because obviously a lot of the players have played together for quite a while. It feels like, especially that sort of like Smash, Shockwave, Gala, core had kind of been really together. How easy was it to sort of like get in there and get your first play time and get in with the team?
I think was not that hard to. I think I can fit into teams pretty easily. Like just get in there and play. I think that was not that bad, but just like getting to the higher level was like the challenging part, I guess. You know.
We've done it now, right? All the playtime, starter, playing all the heroes, even taking Zarya away from Vest. So it feels like you're in there now, mate.
Hopefully I can keep it. You never know.
You got a patch what, in 6.5 hours.
Yeah, I'm just praying.
Your heroes are fucked. Investors back in it. So, do you think? Okay, so you know me. I got my ear to the ground. I'm on the streets, you know, and I'm talking to people. And a lot of people are actually the ice stocks. I'll let you know this very high. A lot of people actually think
very high.
Very high. People speak incredibly highly of you in terms of a tank. Do you think that when you were on PEPS, you were the same level of player, but you weren't able to quite showcase it on that team? Or do you think you've actually improved significantly as a player in the last, I don't know, how long has it been? 2 months, 3 months, something like that? Maybe more? I don't know.
I mean, like 6 months, no?
I have no idea, mate.
Yeah, I think I was able to improve so much with like just playing at with a better team, you know, learning from my teammates and coach, like been able to improve so much from that. So I think I like leveled up like a couple of times as a player and learned a lot of new heroes as well. Like I had to like kind of role swap, right? I was like kind of an off tank player before, but with like, you know, like a little bit of Winston, but like not that much, you know? And kind of had to like role swap, right, to like fit more into this team. So that was like a really challenging part, but I think maybe I'm thinking like I was an off tank player in Overwatch 1, and like during Overwatch 2, most of the time I was just like playing D.Va and whatever, but I feel like maybe main tank is like a better role for me, even like maybe like that kind of style of hero suits me more.
To be fair, I feel like in Overwatch 2, like it's not, but I feel like it kind of is. Like I feel like D.Va is fundamentally like a main tank in terms of the way that you play. You know, I think it's funny how no one can really play like D.Va and Winston the same way, even though I feel in my head like the way D.Va is played a lot is more similar to Winston than it is the fucking like Ramatra or something.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's kind of like a
I
dive
feel
tank.
Like I feel like it should be like not off tank and main tank, but like dive tank and ground
yeah, that's
tank.
true. That's true.
But it feels like there's still no one that can do it. You know, like every Winston player cannot play D.Va, and apart from Hawk and Hanbin, there's no D.Va players that can play Winston. You know. Maybe
one more mate.
Yeah. Absolutely squeeze talking.
But yeah, some would argue I can't play Winston. Like some Korean coaches, like one in particular, argue that hero is not too great. But I can pick the hero and jump around. But yeah, it's kind of hard. Like because on Winston you need to like play like differently in a lot of situations, like depending on comps and stuff. And if it doesn't like come that natural to you, and you haven't had like years of experience on it, then it can get like really confusing, and you just end up trolling. And I think that's where most of the like all of the like D.Va players or ground tank players like tried to play Winston at some point. Like there was like some period in time where like there was like a monkey mirror with KSA and Tivent in every single rank game during some time. But like it's kind of tough because Winston can't like do that much by himself. You kind of need to like play around everything a lot. So
it's high punish as well. Like
it's high punish.
If it goes wrong on Winston, you look like a riot.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, I'm just going back to D.Va. Let's just win this game here. Like have some fun, farm some dopamine, and you get like a lot of negative dopamine from playing Winston a lot of the time.
Did you find learning Ball easier than learning Winston?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Ball, like I thought before, Ball was like an impossible hero, and you had to like one trick it for years to be good at Ball. But like especially with how like broken he is right now, it's really not that hard of a hero. I feel like Ball is kind of natural to me as well. Like I feel like I can be super good on the hero, especially with more time. But like with how broken he is, he's not that hard right now, I don't think.
When did you learn Ball? Because I feel like that hero got like significantly easier to learn when they put the training wheels on him and let you like retract the grapple, mid grapple, and shit like that.
Yeah, I think I started playing Ball like around the time like 2 days or 3 days before we lost to Alcad. I was like just picking up
really
Ball.
Recent. Okay.
Yeah, really recent. And then after that Alcad match, I was like, okay, we have to like cook something up here. And like if we had like an insane ball player like D0NGHAK or Junbin on this VP roster, we would literally like be like a world class team, I feel like. So that's why I was like, okay, I'm gonna like grind this hero out and just try to be really fucking good at it. Because we can have like so much success with it, I think. If I can get to the high level with it.
Okay. All right. So now that the hero has training wheels on, anyone can learn it, or at least
anyway,
maybe
really
KSA cannot, but you know, like you're good for that.
Until 6 hours from now, I'm fucking praying.
When they take the training wheels off,
remove the wheels.
Please don't remove the wheels. Makes it so fun, like so much easier, more fun, like more fun and fast to play. So it's so much more fun.
But not to be fucking slammed and spun and boofed and 10,000 HP.
Yeah, that's also why I started to play. Like it's so frustrating to lose against the Ball as a like if you're playing Zarya and you're losing to Ball, it's like the worst experience in your life. You're just getting like pumped by a Freya across map or something, and there's just fucking hamsters spinning around in your backline. Feels so hard to so cancer to play.
You see it when teams I remember that Samoa against Team Liquid, where even Kuffer was on ball. No offense to Kuffer, of course, but and Team Liquid were just getting absolutely smashed. Like it was impossible for them to go anywhere without having to use all of their cooldowns and just get through the trench, everything thrown at them through the trenches.
Kuffer's been
That can be
getting the ball training too. You know, he's been getting the Gultech juice.
Yeah. You gotta get coached by the Koreans. They're the only ones. Actually, due to the like Smash connections, I actually got like the like most. I think that's actually like the most optimal VOD review to learn ball as quickly as possible. It was like VOD review, my replay code from like a match or a scrim or something with Junbin and D0NGHAK and Smash, like all together collectively.
The council.
That's insane, actually.
VOD reviewing my gameplay. You know, I'm just sitting there. Oh, what did I do here? Oh no, I rolled into the wall. Shit, they're gonna see this and think I'm so fucking bad. Yeah.
I can't ask
that
for
had
much
like
more,
so
really.
much, like the insight on like the like player mind from like a fucking insane ball player is like so helpful.
Yeah, you just got the 2 best ball players in the world fucking chopping it up with your VOD every time. That's helpful.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't bring Heesung into the conversation, to be honest.
The big
He must have been busy.
Yeah, Heesung and Mag were fucking busy. They couldn't. They're actually the ones Smash called up first, and then we had to like go back to Junbin and D0NGHAK. So.
Why has he called him in that order?
Yeah, because Mag charges too much for ball coaching. You know? Like, the fee is like it's insane as hourly rate.
Was it like? Did they speak much English, or was Smash having to do?
No.
Like...
They're just. It was just Junbin like full Eminem style yapping in Korean, and then just Smash like and then like a two sentence summary to me of what Junbin's saying, you know.
You've already got the mixed team experience. You don't realize it, but imagine everything you do in a mixed team is that.
Yeah, that would be.
It's a half an hour discussion by the Koreans, an AI summary of 1 sentence.
Yeah,
and we're on the same page.
Yeah, that's kind of good for us here that we do like almost everything in English, unless it's like Jaewoo getting like flamed and screamed at in Korean. It's like everything else is in English. All the water reviews, all the team discussions and team talks. So that's pretty nice for us.
Yeah. How has it been working with Smash? Because I feel like is probably the most experienced coach you've worked with. First Korean coach you've worked with, maybe as well.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty different from other coaches, I guess. Like a different experience. Like a lot more stressful to play, and you know, like if you're like shitting the sheets in a scrim, you know, I think that can happen and is reasonable. You know, just like absolutely trolling one map, but like he doesn't take that too lightly and can get pretty mad about something like that, like playing bad or mistakes and shit. So it can be really like stressful to play, but at the end of the day, like I've learned so much from his coaching, so I can't really sit here and complain.
You think it makes you better then, or it's overall it's like it's worth the suffering or the stress and the stress and the VOD reviews to get the results?
Yeah, I think so.
He was happy this week though. First like
time.
The happiest I've seen Smash in ages.
Yeah, he was so happy. I was surprised. Like in the VOD, I've never seen him so happy. Like in the interview on the OWCS, looked so happy. Don't usually see him that happy.
Even after those grabs, mate, it's just water under the bridge.
After the grab. And if I could just learn how to...
His tweet is so toxic, by the way, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
like it's so Korean, because he's like, did you see his tweet? It's like, I can't coach how to use grab. And it's like, what he's doing is he's like pretending like, it's my fault, guys. Like, sorry, like I'm just not a good enough coach. But everybody reads it as, this fucking idiot can't hit a grab to save his life.
Yeah.
That's what it actually means, you know?
But that is like not like a toxic thing for me anymore. I'm like used to that kind of stuff. You know, that's not like
probably does.
Yeah,
it's probably the nicest thing he's ever said.
That's like so nice. Like others saying, this guy's dog shit. He doesn't know how to use his fucking ult. Best ult in the game. Can't even hit it. Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll get another VOD review going. Maybe
I need
Bernard
one more
and
VOD review
in there or something.
Yeah. Need to get a Zarya council going.
Should we talk a little bit about the weekend? Because you guys had a double header as well. PEPS and Vision, who I guess have kind of positioned themselves as like two of the teams attempting to challenge for top 3, but you kind of bodied both of them, really. So what's the, like, were you expecting it to be this straightforward, or were you expecting more resistance, maybe particularly from Vision?
Yeah, I expected it to be harder, but to be honest, we played pretty good in the matches as well. But I thought they would be playing better and like better comps and draft and whatever. But yeah, like Vision only won like a couple of fights on Junkertown, and that was just me like trolling those fights. I mean, we could have like actually just lost 0 fights in that entire match if I was playing a little bit better. But yeah, PEPS as well. Yeah, they just weren't that good. I don't know what's going on for them, but thought we played pretty well in the matches, but they also didn't play very well.
How do you guys feel in scrims across like everyone in Europe right now? Because obviously you had the game that was really close against TM, right? Like, was it 3-2 against TM? Is that how it went?
Yeah. It was 3-2,
and
really close.
You got smashed by Alcad, but it felt, at least to me, on the face of it, that like that Alcad game had kind of woke you guys or Smash up. That if you want to play this double flex support style, and you want to play this double like these wide DPS heroes, you can't have a tank which is heavily punishable, right? So Vess in that series was just Alcad would just pick heroes to run Vess over, and then you guys, everyone else would be playing wide, and that's probably what, and Vess would just get fucking May ran over 24/7 and look like the worst player in the lobby. When probably reality is there isn't too much you can do in that situation. Is that what sparked like you coming in, and especially you trying to learn ball? Was that like the realization that your comp fully works if you have a tank that can't be W keyed on?
Yeah, for me that was like the big relation. Like after that match, I was like, okay, I have to be like very good at ball too, and then we can actually just win against these teams.
Do you feel internally now that you are now the top team again? Like, is that how you would feel based on scrims? Do you think that it has been a massive step up?
This week we didn't really have many scrims against the top teams, but we've kind of like in the earlier weeks, like in scrims we were just dominating everyone and then playing like worse in match. But in most recent weeks it was kind of more like we're like not playing like too good in scrims and like struggling against like even like losing maps to Gen.G or PEPS and Vision in scrims, but then like playing much better in the matches, you know, and like playing like just better game. So what was the question again? Kind of forgot the question.
Like, do you now think that, well, obviously the patch they potentially is actually one that it probably hurts you, right? Like, it's really hard to see like Wu Yang and Ball, the heroes that you guys like, it's really hard to see them not getting touched.
Yeah.
But if there was a playoffs today before the patch, would you feel like if you got to run back Alcad, it wouldn't be a 3-0? Do you feel like you've kind of fixed that problem for sure?
Yeah, I think we would be able to beat all the teams right now if we played right now. But yeah, who knows what's going to come up with the patch. But yeah, after that Alcad match, we had like long discussions about like the double tanking situation, right? Because both tanks don't get like the full play time and like limited practice and like limited confidence on different heroes. Yeah, and that's how we got to the conclusion of just playing like one tank and sticking to that.
Yeah, because I think when we scrimmed you one time, and I think we got absolutely finger blasted, for lack of a better term. And I think I remember Hawk said after the scrim, they says like, okay, that team feels Korean. Like the way you guys like moved and the way you guys played, it felt like that was like the highest level team that we'd seen in scrims. But I'm interested to know if that's like a VP or just insane, or if like the other EU teams, like against TM and Alcad, what would, like, if you were to guess, like, do you think your scrim rate is like 50-50, 60-40 these days? Are those two teams similar levels too? Or how do you power rank the big three?
I mean, I think if we played like in a match against any of the other members of the big three, it would always be like a dogfight. We wouldn't like just 3-0 or like get 3-0'd. I don't think right now. I feel like right now the level in EU is a lot higher than the NA level, to be honest. Like this gets said in like every single Uncoachable, like saying, oh, EU is so much better than NA, but this time I'm really sure that like all the EU teams would, like the big three in EU would dominate the big four in NA easily, I think. And I think even like Vision or something would have like a good shout against top NA teams as well.
I mean, we scrimmed Gen.G yesterday and we played on ping, but we won 3 Hawk Winston maps, okay? So that's all you need to know.
Yeah, maybe
about
not Gen.G. I mean, I don't know how good Gen.G is.
That's why I'm putting Hawk in the Winston category, mate. His performances against Gen.G and last night's scrims were unbelievable. Primal's not the best, but, you know, he's on. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I'd love to sit here as an MA coach and disagree, but I don't know. I think even we, as a team, think, yeah, you guys are probably better in this patch.
Yeah, EU is on top right now.
Then from Stuart. As OWCS enters the final stage of its second year, would you say the esport and new branding is doing better, worse, or as expected compared to your expectations after Overwatch League?
I'd say maybe significantly better. I thought that it was just going to go down and down and down. I was very surprised to see that the partner program launched this year. I'd say in terms of like overall viewership and stuff, I'm unsurprised, or I think that it's pretty much on par. But I think the amount of money being put into the game because of the partner program and such is way over my expectations. Yeah. So I think better.
Yeah, fully agree. Exactly the same page.
Yeah, I think it very much seems like it's actually trending upwards rather than downwards. You know, it's not like we're trickling away. It feels like actually lots of things are moving in a positive direction, which I think is a really hard thing to do, given the way Overwatch League ended and how much was invested and maybe how many, like the feeling after that. So I think actually, yeah, positive, not to jinx it, but positive feelings about Overwatch going forward. Well, this one's on me.
Thanks for killing OWCS, Saviour.
Well, someone had to do it. Then,
you didn't really answer the question about, like, I mean, you said that if you played a match versus these top teams, that it would always be a dogfight. Do you think that you're like noticeably better than them? Because I mean, I did hear that, you know, like as a scrim team, like pretty much all stage, you guys were like pretty much dominating. And I feel like in stage 1, like even before you were on the team, like VP was pretty much like head and shoulders above everyone else in EMEA, right? Like even before the addition of Kevin. It's just in stage 2, all of these teams, aka Twisted and Alcad, were just able to play sim for like, you know, 70% of all the maps. And they could do that way better than you guys ever could. But like now that sim isn't that good anymore, like do you feel like, you know, are you substantially better than these teams? Like dogfight or not, you know, like if you're like 60-40, 70-30 in scrims, I mean, you're like pretty significantly better than everyone else. Is that how it feels for you?
I don't really know, to be honest. We haven't scrimmed any like crazy good teams recently. Like the entire last week, it was like the Saudi League, right? So we couldn't scrim TM or Alcad a single time, and then we were just like set scrimming good guys and even like Dreamlight, which is like a Faceit Master team. So I'm not really too sure, but I think we're like better than the other teams right now, especially on this meta.
I always feel with Alcad specifically, as I watch them, I always feel these days they always come into matches with like a really good plan, you know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of times where I think even since stage 1, like my respect for Smash as a coach grew massively because I would look at the way his teams played and like you guys always retake better than every team that I ever see, you know, like the way that you are like taught to play the map is always superior than almost any other team. And I was thought, well, the way Smash coaches is maybe the best. But then the way in officials, you see your style versus their style, Junbin always has an insane solution for it, you know? Like, I think when you guys played in the 3-0 I feel like, I'm not sure, I don't know if he played those comps against you in scrims or if it caught you by surprise, a lot of like the main stuff, but it feels like the way that they knew how you were going to play and they counter-strategized it and it just worked flawlessly. And I think a lot of the times Alcad play against TM, I feel the same. I feel like that's the difference.
Yeah,
is just
that's true.
Junbin, like he has a better match prep for it. So I feel somewhere that even if you beat them in scrims, they're a really tricky team to play in officials because I kind of back the Junbin. Okay, game day, we're fucking locking in. This is what we're going to do, you know?
In that
I mean, they're
series,
always much stronger than in the scrim as well. Alcad, like I think it's part like their players as well, just performing better in matches than in scrims. But like you can always tell there's some like coach preparation going into the comps and like what's happening for them.
I think that VP one actually it was checkmate.
I don't think it was.
They were like because they struggled
it?
into the Sigma because it was Icon World, right? And then like you guys full cap on the Sigma, if I remember right. Like the attack goes really well, but then apparently when it like swapped around, Checkmate just told Lubda go May, and then it all changed.
It's like
so that
smart.
was like just an in the moment decision by Checkmate, but I think in general, I think you are still true.
I remember times where there would be like Alcad would play against TM and they would ban Ram and they would like come out on their Diva Sim May comp and it was like, fuck, actually, like you didn't expect this, but it actually is perfect. Like that, those versions of the comp. But yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe too much credit to Junkbuck.
Yeah, truly it's like a mix of the players making like good decisions in the moment and then also the coach preparing them well for different situations and like what's going to come ahead. I totally agree with the like in the Alcad versus TM matches, it always seems like Alcad has some like always cooking up some new strategy that's going to catch TM off guard. And that oftentimes allows them to like clutch the win out.
Yeah, TM are always really confident in what they play, but they go into matches just playing what they play, you know? And there's always, especially because every single series goes to like map 5 or map 7 or map 6 or whatever it is. All it takes is 1 or 2 curveballs that squeeze 1 or 2 maps, and that's the difference between winning or losing the series, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
I guess in many ways, it's kind of, you know, when you always talk about, and it's like Falcon's Crazy Raccoon, this sort of ability to be better on match day, or everything's always, or by the time you get to the high stakes game of the lands.
What's like once.
So it's to do with stakes, Chris. So generally, the higher the stakes, the better these certain teams perform, like Falcons and Crazy Raccoon.
I love stakes.
I feel like there's an element of that with Alcad, you know? Like I think Alcad these last few weeks have kind of looked, you know, a bit meh, but they've also just had super easy games, right? So they're just really forgettable. But you just feel like as soon as it comes to that like important time, this next weekend and the weekend after, it just feels like Alcad will be back to their best, you know? Like even despite losing in Saudi League, I feel like that doesn't actually feel like an indication that they're going to do any worse this coming weekend or anything like that.
We should talk too, before we move on to other teams, Kev, because obviously, in my opinion, he's pretty good at Overwatch. Might be a hot take, but
he's all right.
Hot take.
What's your feeling about, has he massively improved you guys coming in? I'm guessing he gets on well with everyone. It seems like he's fitting pretty well.
Yeah, it was kind of just like plug him in and it's immediately like no hate to Jewu, but it's like instantly a clean upgrade on every hero. Jewu's fucking good as well, but like Kev is just like one level higher, you know, and that actually makes a big difference in game. And I think I said in some interview before on the like OWCS that like it's really just like playing on easy mode, you know. You have like the raid boss running around, like hard calling as well, like coming like what to do for the team, like helping in VOD reviews as well, like very good game knowledge and stuff. So just playing really easy. Oh, look who just pulled up.
No way.
You want to say hello, friend?
He don't. God, he is in a good mood, isn't he? Fuck.
He looks so happy.
He always looks like a happy fuck, you know?
Yeah, not always, but a lot of the time.
Can't wait for this patch to ruin his day.
He's going to be fuming.
So Big TP is back on Sim.
No, please, no. Don't do it.
It feels like there's
a bit of the worst.
I say it feels like there's a bit of a trend between a lot of these top teams where there's like this big vocal DPS player making a big impact, right? Like a lot has been made, especially of Kev recently, of sort of becoming a more vocal player. Like Checkmate, obviously on Alcad is a great example of that, and Proper on Falcons. It feels like for so many of these teams right at the top, there is that big vocal DPS player leading the way. Like maybe Crazy Raccoon a bit of the exception there, but for a lot of the others, it seems to be a huge difference maker.
Yeah, I feel like there was probably like an old school Overwatch theory was you need your main support to shot call and your main tank, and that's what you need. Those were like the two. They were the brains behind the operation, and everyone got a license to just mute. But I think like, especially like someone like D0NGHAK and the heroes he plays, that guy is just perma muted, you know. But he doesn't need to lead the team on those heroes, you know. Like, and I think DPS, everybody's like, oh, DPS needs to carry, so don't. It's almost like the coach will say, I don't want to give you more responsibility. But actually, when it's optimally done on so many heroes, like maybe does Kev even on Tracer comms a lot?
Yeah, it's like a lot of like shot calling on Tracer, I guess. Like, oh, this guy's low. Can you go for this guy? No TP, like just all of that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But he's like, even like people, I kind of hate on his sim a lot, right? But even on sim, he's like really good as well. Me as a sim expert, personally, I can like improve his symmetric, and like I can say he's very good in sim as well, and like he can lead the team and make good plans and stuff as well on those heroes.
On the sim council, it'd be checkmate, UB, and you, mate. Don't worry.
Exactly. The big three.
Exactly.
And Psycho, don't forget Psycho.
Oh, yeah, Psycho. Big four.
Backbone would not be there. Okay, that's it's Psycho. Psycho is the sim guy.
But maybe it's also like a bit different from, because like I had like went from one extreme of flex DPS calling, like from Jay, who doesn't really call too much, like the bare minimum kind of, to like Kev, who talks like a lot for a flex DPS. Maybe just one more level is like backbone calling. Like I heard he's like full yapping the whole time. Kev doesn't call like that much, but he calls like a perfect like right amount, you know.
I feel Lenny always talks about this, but he always says like on Tracer, there's only so much team leadership he can do. You know, you're right. He can do the target calling and low calls. But if Lenny plays Gen.G or if Lenny plays Sim or something, all of a sudden, like the same way Jamie can, he can take control of everything. He can set the tempo. He can tell your tank when to push. And Tracer, it becomes a lot harder, right?
Yeah,
like
it's harder.
You don't see everything. You have to focus a lot on what you're doing. So. Like I imagine when I don't know if you ever play, I guess you never really play like narrow comps, right? You never just like play to full rush down main. But if you ever play like Zarya or Gen.G or something, I bet Kev would actually really be fine to call a lot of tempo plays too.
Yeah, it would probably be like a combination of Kev, Shockwave, and me. Just whenever we see like an angle to like push or do something, then would just be one of those probably.
The Shockwave do a lot of the coming about like the space that everyone takes. I always heard that Shockwave's really good at that. Like
I think we kind of just like naturally take the spaces with like just like taking the map step by step and like not rushing things or not skipping steps, and then just naturally get the map. I think it's like a lot because of like good player quality from all the teammates. Like, yeah. It's not really like, oh, you go here and he swings here in 3 seconds and or some shit like that. Just like, oh, we do step by step, and then, oh, I can clear this guy, I can go here, I can push here, do this, you know. It's like more natural flow of the game.
I think that stuff's kind of inherently a lot harder to micro. Like if you're in like sort of 2 or 3 split groups and getting everyone to take the right space at the right time. Whereas you compare that to maybe like use the Gen.G example of Backbone on Reaper, where really Backbone can just dictate, here's the engage, I'm going here, and everyone can react to that information, and if they make a play at the same time, you got a decent chance of it working. I feel like it's a lot harder to do it if it's like this slower style.
Yeah, we're playing a bit more for like mini games and stuff, and like slower, more wider or something. Yeah, maybe that's why we don't succeed too much on the sim comps, unless it's against Weibo.
Well, the onus here actually, now we've said it should be the DPS player, is actually on UIs in these comps.
Yeah, we just need 2 tanks to be like 2 tanks in the server. Just makes a lot more like yapping in the like in the comms, because we don't really have too much yapping going on in the comms. We have like a lot of quiet players. I'd say I'm like a more quiet tank player in Vest as well, compared to like other tank players who just call everything. Same for Gala, is like a very quiet flex support, and Fix are just normal, I guess. Just calling what he needs to do. But yeah, generally, we're like more of a more quiet team.
All right. Hit the other EU teams then. Who we got to talk about? Alcad next, because we kind of touched on them already.
Yeah. I mean, I think they still have to come in favourites, right? Like, I know maybe Ice feels differently, and Ice has seen more of the scrims, but I feel like they still got to come in favourites. I feel like they've won all the big games, give or take a Saudi League here or there, but all of the games were like the Gen.G one felt close, but that was a chase series. There's all these sort of like caveats to no sort of close games, anything like that. So I feel like Alcad still come in favourites, and nice thing for Alcad as well, because they get to pick their first opponent. they just start off against Vision, right? They beat Vision, they secure their spot at Stockholm, and then there's like an element of pressure. Yeah.
What do you guys think of the Chase series? That's just they just quite fuck it, thought they could do it. Do you think he's going to play any maps in playoffs?
I doubt it. I feel like they have like a different power level with Ziad in the lobby, you know. But I mean, if they're losing with Ziad, then maybe they're gonna go for Chase. But I doubt they're gonna lose with Ziad. So yeah, most likely not. Maybe some maps, but yeah, when's like the big pressure, the big stakes, and probably just this right.
I feel like they're maybe one of the teams. Like we talk about this new patch, we don't know what it's going to be. We don't know what's going to end up strongest. And what's really possible as well is whatever feels strongest this weekend really might not be the correct answer either. Well, there'll be an evolution by the second week as well. But I feel like OWCAD are one of the best. They'll just play their own style and be really good at it, almost irrelevant of what is actually the strongest comp or the strongest combination.
Yeah, I reckon they'll pick Diva Swim and Kiri Lucio or something and then just make it work.
Don't you think that would, if you're talking about like the meta change, and that would be the single biggest change Overwatch could make, would be like hard nerfing Kiri. Like that would actually
that would change everything.
Like, because that hero is just always broken and never gets touched. I think someone told me she's got skins coming out, so she won't get touched. Don't worry about it. But that would be the one that would like every team would have to consider like different comps and different heroes and everything.
Yeah, I think if Kiri was like significantly worse, then we would have like a strong upper hand with Gala.
Yeah,
he's like the only flex supporter who is like a Kiri one trick. Not the only one, but like one of the few ones, especially in EU, who are like not Kiri one tricks.
Yeah, other than that, I don't think too much to worry about for OWCAD, really.
Win all your games, who cares, you know?
Where's the drama? Well, we'll get to that later.
No, there is no drama.
There is, there is a way to hurt OWCAD, but
financially,
we'll get there. But obviously, the other big one is Twisted Minds, who I feel like, I don't know, like close series against VP, close series against OWCAD, right? Like they lost both of these in map 5. So it feels like they've been right there in touching distance this entire time. But it just feels like not the same aura from Twisted Minds this time around. Like they don't feel as scary. They don't feel maybe even as dominant in some of their wins all the time. Feel like they've been a bit up and down, you know, like KSA in 1 week, TVNT in another. So it feels like they've just kind of autopilot maybe sounds like too harsh for it. I don't think that's necessarily fair, but it feels like it's been a fairly standard stage for TM.
They're kind of doing the, 1 week play Tevin, 1 week play KSA. I'm not sure who's like deciding like who's gonna play this time, but it seems random. Like Astro said in some interview as well, like he doesn't even know like who's deciding who to play. It's kind of weird. It's kind of a problem if you have like two tanks.
Everyone knows who's deciding.
I think what you mean to say is nobody knows, what the decision is, but I think everyone knows who's making the decision. Not to fucking jump in on what you're saying here or anything, but I mean it's like, come on now, like who makes the decisions on Twisted Minds? It's not fucking Bendest, is it?
I agree. I feel somewhere that I don't know. I feel like TM have had so many opportunities to be the top dog. It just, if you were to predict who's going to win, I think if OWCAD or VP win, I think everybody could see it. I think TM winning would actually be quite a shock at this stage. Do you think they are worse with Psycho in than Yubi?
They definitely do have less aura a lot of the time with Psycho, and then they like don't have that one strong like they're like that one strong style that they're like super good at, and yeah, they kind of just like walk more with Yubi as well. They have like that leader who's like running, and they just walk on the tank like every single time, like without a doubt.
He's just coming for you 24/7.
Yeah, like, if you're playing, if you're a
you
tank
don't
in
take
the
that
lobby,
TP, you're gonna know. You're gonna be aware that you better get in that fucking TP.
we play like a lot faster as well, and a lot more like of a I guess like a dominate the enemy style, like shit on them, like if they're winning, they're gonna keep like if they smell blood, they're gonna keep going and keep pushing for blood. And I guess it's like UB kind of, probably UB calling those things most of the time.
Yeah, it's hard because I feel like I really feel this way, but I don't know if I have great evidence for it. Because a lot of these games are still really close versus VP, still really close versus Alcad, I think even, which series was it? Was it the VP one where map 5 was Esperanza and they roll out on like Juno Brig or something?
In our match?
Was that versus you guys or was that versus Alcad maybe?
Maybe versus Alcad. They didn't play Juno
Maybe it was
Brig
versus Alcad, yeah. It's just like a couple of times where they have these really tight series and then you can look at a couple of it and it feels like dodgy comp choices, and there's sort of like enough reasons to believe that on another day they could have just won, and then the whole narrative feels different,
Yeah.
It's
just the problem
so
is
it feels hard to write them off, but at the same time, it feels
if
in my
every
stomach
time,
it just feels off.
Yeah, if every time they could have won, but they never actually do, then it's really hard. I mean, we're big believers in nothing ever happens. Like unless you've won, you can never win. Ultimately that's what this podcast stands for, If he won, they're never going to win, Like, it's just not going to happen because they've never won before. It just feels, I don't know.
They did win Saudi E-League. I didn't actually watch the game, so I've got no detail for you there, but they did win that one. All the tweets afterwards were very much, well, no surprise, we win on LAN. They did technically lose at Esports World Cup, which I felt like a LAN event to me. But again, as we've established, it's, facts, feelings here in their stomach. They feel like they never lose at LAN. So yeah, I don't know.
I didn't watch that match as well. What was going on there? Did anyone watch it?
I heard they kind of dominated for the Saudi
like
League
4-2 or something.
Like
right?
it was.
Oh yeah.
It's like a stronger showing.
Did UB play?
Yes, I think so. Oh, actually, wait, no, maybe Psycho
I don't think
played.
he did.
No, I think
Psycho
Psycho
did,
and
yeah.
Astro played.
Yeah, because UB tanked the ban, right?
Yeah, he was suspended.
Oh yeah. Probably didn't play that.
So yeah, I mean, all this being said,
they won 4-2.
Yeah, all this being said, though, I feel like there's 100% chance they qualify for Stockholm. Like, there's no way any of this leads to a slip up, I think, against any of the sort of middle of the pack teams. It's really just, I think they might be in that third place. I guess it may be, depends how consequential that'll be.
Depends on the patch as well, right? Like, no idea what's going to come.
Yeah.
But
I think they're slightly patch proof. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Is that true? Are they more patch proof than Alcad? Fuck, maybe not. I don't know.
By patch proof, do you just mean the fact that they're just going to play their comp anyway, and it's kind of irrelevant, or
there's no significant meta? Like, I feel somewhere with I don't know. Maybe is Psycho a better everything except Sim than Checkmate, or is that just because Checkmate plays Sim, everybody doesn't think he's as good at everything else? Who's a better Tracer player, Checkmate or Psycho? Is it close?
I think it's close, but
similar level.
And who's a better Gen.G and who's better? I don't know. Actually, the more I speak, the less confident I am in what I said.
I mean, you never know what's gonna happen when Alcad and TM play against each other.
Yeah.
The only thing you know is it's gonna be close. I guess, unless it's Saudi League, I guess, this time. But usually it's always
the 4-2 was the least close they've ever played.
Yeah.
It was still 4-2,
Absolute domination.
I'm just looking at the bracket now as well, like Stockholm, because I guess as much as we talked about Alcad, they auto qualify if they beat Vision, and it feels a little bit like job done. But I guess I'm trying to figure out exactly how job done is it in this situation.
The first seed makes a big difference, right? Like
so first seed of EMEA. Once we get to Stockholm, you skip that first round, and then that means you're playing the winner of Team CC and Korea 3. So that Korea 3 team could still be a Falcons or T1, so that might still be tough.
Not an easy one. Still a tough one.
Then for the other two EMEA teams, if you're MA3, you play NA2, and then the winner of that plays Korea 1. And then if you're EMEA 2, you play NA3, and then you play Weibo. So I think the difference between EMEA 2 and EMEA 3 is actually quite significant, because that difference between playing I think you're probably happy playing either of those NA teams. You know, like I think, as we said, I think leaning EMEA's way, and then would you rather play the best team in Korea or Weibo? I think Weibo.
I'd rather play
every
Weibo
time.
personally.
Yeah. So I think the difference between second and third in EMEA could actually be quite significant down the line. Yeah.
Are you guys insane at Ilios, Ice?
No.
I'm
like handless on that map.
Really?
We always lose Ilios in every scrim against every team.
Really?
If we boot Ilios up against Gen.G, we're just getting shit on.
No way. That's insane.
Yeah. We even lost it to Team Liquid in scrim as well. Yeah, it's a ball map, but I don't like something about.
I need like Diva, isn't it like the?
I need like another. Yeah, I need like a VOD review with Junbin on that map or something.
Get the council. Get the council.
I need the council on that one. Like I'm just lost on that map. I don't really know.
Fuck.
Yeah, in theory, it should be like a great map for us.
Should be a massive advantage.
Is the Stockholm map pool like official? Like they announced it on the Discord. Yeah, it's like the most rancid map pool I've ever seen in my life. I think like the Busan, Nepal. It looks like where's Lijiang Tower?
The control one is really rough. I think the rest of it's kind of all right if you want to keep your feet on the ground. There's like options for you everywhere.
Like the escort is looking rough as well. Like I mean, maybe that's just my personal preference. Like I just don't like any of these maps really. Yeah.
Fucking Ilios. What a surprise,
Oh, it's Ilios. Come back to bite you.
What are you worried about? Chris, you have a Winston player.
Yeah, you have to
Oh, fucking true. Good shout, actually. Good shout. I forgot about yesterday's Gen.G screen. Fucking bring on Ilios, no problem.
Do you want to hit some of these middle of the pack teams then?
Sure.
I feel like there's not too much to worry about. I feel like it would be a colossal upset if any of these three teams take any one spot to Stockholm. I feel like we'll start with Gen.G because I feel like Gen.G are maybe the most interesting because it really feels like they're actually so back. I know they finished 6th and that 6th spot, and they got that 6th spot on head-to-head map differential as well. So it feels really, really tight and like they squeaked into it. But I feel like performance-wise and word on the street-wise, it feels like Gen.G are actually back now. They found this sort of Zarya Reaper, Diva Reaper comp. So I feel like if any team's going to do it, it's Gen.G.
Maybe. I mean, it was after the Sky benching seems to have been somewhat of a catalyst too, right? Like it does seem to have made some sort of change. Yeah, I don't know. Which side are they on? Like, who do they play first? Do they play the VPTM or do they play?
Yeah, they play VPTM, I think. So they're actually cooked in many ways.
They have to beat one of those teams and then another one, right? Like it's not. They need 2 upsets, not 1.
Yeah, just to be clear, there's Gen.G are back, but we're going to see
they get first rounded.
They get first rounded. Yeah, but just they are technically back. It's just a bad bracket. We just won't see any evidence of how back they are.
I just think that like no matter which region you're looking at, really, like it's just outrageously boring. So I mean, for the EMEA, no matter which side of the bracket you're looking at, it's just outrageously boring because like the top 3 feels really clear cut. Like. I think Vision is like the only team that has even the slightest of an outside shot, but it's like such a lower chance than any of the top 3 in EMEA. Like at least in North America, like I think Nightmare, Geekay, SSG, depending on what meta they roll, like any of these teams feel like they could wind up in the swamp. But in EMEA, it's just like what are the fucking chances that anyone is beating the top 3, and it feels like there's a huge gap. So like. Your optimism for Gen.G, it's like, can Gen.G beat Violet and then still not make it to LAN in the next game? That's sort of like where you're at, right?
Well, yeah, I think, like I'm not trying to make a pitch, not like bet the money on Gen.G seeing them in
Stockholm. They actually have hope,
I'm saying like that if I did my power rankings, they're the 4th team. They're despite the actual standings, they're above Vision and PEPS because
I do think they would. Like, them versus Vision, it's like a 50-50, I think. It's not going to be like them dominating Vision, I don't think.
I feel like Vision are the only team where there's a patch that could be a difference breaker, Like, I think Vision, like, let's imagine for the sake of argument, Jeff Kaplan destroys Zarya and Diva tomorrow, like just nukes them out of existence. And actually, all of a sudden, you'd think, well, it's not impossible that like
Vision
Tama.
could, yeah.
Yeah. Like, or if they need Lucio out of existence, and actually all of a sudden double flex, oh shit! Like it's actually there is a few, but then with the problem Gen.G have got realistically is their strengths align perfectly with EU teams who are better than them strengths. So a good patch for Gen.G is also an excellent patch for TM and also an excellent patch for Alcad. And you'd say, like, I don't know where there's no meta avenue which I can see Gen.G getting above those teams. Like if you could design a patch for Gen.G to win, I'm not convinced you can. Whereas I can design a patch where Vision have got a chance.
Yeah, I can see it, but I also feel like whenever we get the comms check on Vision, any hope that they might punch up evaporates. Like, what I just like, we do the comms check on VP and there's like a calmness and an organization to it. We do the comms check on Alcad and it's a bit more high tempo, right? But it just feels like everyone is switched on, everyone's locked in, everyone's reacting to each other. And then when we go to the Vision comms check, I just don't feel it. This doesn't sound like a team that can beat a top 3 team, right? Like I compare those two comms listens in, and I just can't see a world where Vision can. And if you look at all of the matches Vision have had against, I agree with Ice that VP played well in their match against Vision, but Vision were also pretty shit.
And I feel like they crumble, like
true.
Especially after they lose Junkertown, it's just complete nothingness from them after that, But yeah,
and if they have one of these top teams, you need, and it's going to be a dogfight, right? Like Vision are going to have to dogfight to get one of these wins, and I really don't think they've got that dog in them.
Yeah, they have the classic mixed team problem, I guess, or like the unsuccessful mixed team problem, where it's like people kind of give up on their team. I feel like some certain Korean players, they don't really after it's looking rough, they just clock out and give up. Is from what I'm hearing from some of their players, and kind of the rough experience where it's the 20-minute Korean yapping into one-word sentence conclusion for the Europeans and ready,
Yeah.
So,
if you listen really carefully when there's a Vision comms check, you hear the silent of Violet cashing his check. That's what you hear. You just hear it in the background. You hear nothing else.
The little app notification.
Praying it somehow doesn't bounce. Like the first time in history that the Saudi Arabian check doesn't bounce.
Oh, there's fucking banks.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many banking issues over there.
Yeah, but theoretically, on paper, that team should be the number 4, right? But theoretically, but yeah, probably Gen.G would beat them right now. I think in this, especially if they play an all match.
They looked really shit at Zarya Reaper, from the match versus you.
Yeah,
but
that's their main comp,
isn't it? Backbone is just hard carrying in that situation, or doing a huge impact on his team, whereas Tama and Choi, it's not going to be the same,
Yeah.
To be fair though, I do think if it's all hinging on Zarya Reaper, I mean, there's a bare minimum of 2 bans that can just completely fuck that throughout a series already. It's kind of hard if a comp is super contingent on multiple heroes for it to make or break your stage.
That was kind of a problem for Gen.G, right? During their TM match.
During the match, right? Yeah.
They only had 2. They only had that one comp.
Every role.
Yeah. They just needed that one other comp, or 2 other comps or something. The Reaper ban, and they're just completely cooked. There's no direction anymore, and what they're doing. Backbone is swapping after every fight.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of have a 3-pronged problem where they're in big trouble if someone bans Zarya, they're in big trouble if someone bans Reaper, and they're in big trouble if someone bans Lucio. So they need to protect every role. I think they've solved the Lucio.
Oh, well, if it makes it better for them, they're in big trouble if they have to play Symmetra as well, because all of the best teams in the region are way better at Symmetra than
they're not winning that much.
Especially Psycho.
Especially Psycho, because even though Backbone invented Symmetra, he unfortunately just can't hang with Psycho anymore. Did you see OC's tweet today? Actually, on the topic of OC tweets, she tweeted today saying that the map pool seems to quite heavily favor brawl teams.
I saw it.
I just thought, like, I'm looking at the pool. And I see a dive map in every single game type right now, so I don't really see how brawl is favored if there's a dive map in every single part of the pool. Like, it's just balanced at that stage, is it not?
Well, yeah, and then once all the map ones are diveable, then actually it's so cooked that you need one of the game types to be like undiveable. But I feel this
if there's a dive map in all 5, then the Korean team will just get to pick dive for map 1 and get 3 out of 5 dive for a minimum.
And then that's just tennis.
But I low key see the brawl favored angle here.
I'm glad you do, mate. Okay, I'm glad you do.
Yeah. To be fair, I mean, I also do feel like Psycho is better than Backbone at Sim.
Everyone would agree with that, Max. I don't think there's no dissenters on that opinion, surely. So use your eyes.
Wow.
Who's the 6th team in EU? There must be another team somewhere. Is it PEPS?
PEPS. It's Team PEPS.
Yeah.
They can't even be good guys.
Yeah,
maybe good guys for the 6th team.
I don't think PEPS are qualifying to LAN.
Yeah, it's looking.
What if they sub in soon?
Yeah,
Zoom's not played at all this stage.
That's what they need. That's what they need. They need the clutch factor, the X factor.
Why did they pay him $6,000 a month to not play him? That's insane, though.
I heard they were paying him $8,000 a month now.
Really, he's gone up. He's got like
he
bonus,
got a raise,
adjusted for inflation or something.
No, it's because he showed them that performance on Qadsiah or something last stage, and it was all it took, really. Yeah, talking about an extra $2,000.
Yeah.
Right, that
I like a lot of
against
PEPS players.
Like, that was versus you, right, Chrissy?
It was soon
for reverse
dominated.
See, at least somebody gets paid when the Ultimate plays matches. It's just
that's true.
It's not your guys.
It's one French player.
I mean, in many ways, when you look back at that PEPS to Youth series, it's really no surprise PEPS did so well when you consider the resource gap between the two organizations.
It's true. They get paid $6,000 a month more than us.
So yeah, is there anything else from EMEA? Because I feel like I like a couple of PEPS players, but gonna have to really ignore a load of factors to convince myself PEPS might cause an upset or something here. They kind of got a better chance because they play Vision, to be fair, right? Like in their round, so maybe they could win that game, to be fair. But
I don't know how they like. I didn't watch the match with them versus good guys, but like, what happened there? How did they lose? I thought they would be a lot better than good guys. So. Do you guys watch it?
I watched the second half of it.
Second half?
I was at the first half too.
Yeah.
I need a summary on it. What was happening? How they lose?
I mean, it was classic tennis theory, actually. They didn't ban Hazard once. I mean, Willis played Hazard on every single map. But, like, I don't know, PEPS just didn't seem all that hot, to be honest. Like, Crocs was just playing fucking musical chairs this hero selection, you know? Like, there's a Queen map, there's a Hog map, there's a Hazard cough point, like there's a bit of Winston thrown in there as well. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like they just spin the fucking wheel, and if Crocs kills half of the team, then it's all good. I forget the name of the hit scan on the good guys, but like that guy was just gapped. Yeah, Kira was just mega gapped by Zorro for like the entire series pretty much. But they like pull out some outrageous flashpoint clutch. They absolutely dominate as soon as they pick Roadhog. I can't even remember the first cough anymore, to be honest. It's in one ear and out the other with these matches, honestly. But I don't know. Is it SXJ the tracer for good guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, he went quite nuclear as well, I think. I don't know. I just feel like PEPS. He wasn't getting shit on by White Kevin at all.
What?
I just didn't feel that way.
I feel like
what if White Kevin on that, but
yeah. I just feel like I don't know. I don't see the scrims, but the impression I get is PEPS are like underperformers in matches. And I feel like especially against a team like Good Guys, where when you play Good Guys, you're going to be met with chaos, right? Like Crocs is just going to play Hog or Junker Queen, and maybe you've not practiced against it. And it feels like in these situations, PEPS really struggle to find like an answer or anything like that, you know? It feels like the only comp they've sort of shown consistent levels on is that Hazard, Kiri Lucio. But again, like Max said, they actually got to play loads of that in this series and still struggled. So I think the PEPS players, they all tweeted a sort of a variation or something other of like, it's a good wake-up call to get us in shape, etc., etc. But
the fucking year's over.
but that's what I mean. I think that's just like there's no hope here. I feel like they needed a miracle to begin with, and there's no signs of even the start of a miracle. A bread even shifting a molecule closer to fish.
Yeah, they kind of have a rough matchup against Vision as well, I think. Like their Hazard comps against like if Vision just whip out a double flex support ball or something, then like Hazard is kind of rough into that.
There's no. If they can't be good guys,
yeah,
PEPS need it to be a big Hazard. Just only Hazard is the only viable tank
above.
Yeah, and then they can do it, and Willis can carry him through. Like Hazard and Freya are just the two most powerful heroes by a country mile, and then PEPS can beat Vision, I reckon.
Yeah, maybe they have a chance then. Not sure if they can win, but they have a higher chance then.
Should we hit North America then?
Let's hit it up.
All right. Should we start with SSG? Because SSG had a big end to the season, big win as well over Geekay. From your point of view, Chrissy, was this expected win, or what was the confidence level going in?
I don't know, to be honest with you. We had we had our biggest mental boom of the season that week, actually. We're getting slammed by extinction in scrims every day. And then the last day, we had a little debrief, we all sat together for an hour and just, chilled out. And then we came out the next day and we were fucking dominating, mate. Okay, destroying the world in scrims. And all it takes is one good day and then you're back, 6 bad days isn't the same as one good day. I don't know, it feels like every time we play against these big teams, honestly, anything can happen. We could easily lose that series, to be honest. It's really possible with slightly better bans or decision makings. The same with the Team Liquid one we had earlier in the season. I make such an easy argument that when we got 99% and we're 2-2 on Suravasa and we have Wall and Beat and they have no ults, that there's actually a really easy way to win that map. It feels like we're in a good position.
I don't see it.
So I don't know. I feel like somewhere the big three all seem super capable of beating each other on game day. It was just kind of nice. It would have probably sucked to have lost both of the games against the big three in close fashion. So to clutch it up, I think it seems hard to argue it wasn't good for our mentality.
Yeah, I don't know. That series. I'll go with Max.
No, you got that.
I was going to say, that whole series, it felt like it sort of kept coming back to, and maybe the same was really true of the Geekay Team Liquid series, if there was just a limitation on this Wu Yang Lucio comp. I feel like that's been the sort of big talking point. I watched some of those. What was was it Samoa, the first map you played against Geekay? And I'm just watching Sugar Free take the Tidal Blast and just run at Geekay's backline. And they're on ball, or Ram maybe there, Wu Yang Lucio. And they've just got no counterplay. It's just 100% win rate ultimate. And they just have no way to deal with any of that. It felt like in general, Kufa was the way Kufa plays a lot of the time is this aggressive style. And that means UV has to be with him, which works really well when you're maybe just beating teams anyway. But it does feel like there's a limitation there that Geekay maybe ran into in both of their series these last 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I think you saw it again. What was map 4 of our series? It was Suravasa, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he swaps it after a fight, and you can kind of start to feel like there's even from him, there's a little bit of doubt. I think GK are obviously a team that wants to play their style, and they really like the Luwu. I think they love pressing tab and seeing UV has 20k damage over everyone else in the lobby, and they think, well, but I think you're right. I think, I don't know. I think somewhere there, it's possible that their unwavering faith in the comp has made it slightly more difficult, because I don't think that this is a team that can't play other stuff, I don't know. There might be a funny argument, which is it's funny to say, but a Wu ban a Wu nerf today might actually benefit them the most, because it might force them to
change the
shape
comps
up a little bit,
My feeling was that like the team has had like I don't know if ego is the right way to put it, but like it's not the first time where they've like had a feeling that something is good and they've just like played the fuck out of it for ages. Like in stage 2 playoffs, they just became like completely convinced that like Malga, Lucio, Moira was just like the most OP thing ever. And they played like Malga, Lucio, Moira for like a week straight into like absolutely everything. And then they got to the match day and they just got fucking smoked and got put into the lower bracket. And then they just pivoted back to like all of their standards. And they just win the map 7 of the grand finals with like limited prep on their standards because they've wasted a week playing Malga, Lucio, Moira for no fucking reason. And then I feel like this one's been like even more extreme where they've spent like an entire stage almost playing Lucio Wuyang. But like the cracks really start to show when they get to like the back end of the stage essentially. And like you can see that there are just like, huge issues with the comp that they're playing, like they literally lose every single title blast trade. And they just have like difficulty versus infected on Sigma. Like there's problems with their comp, obviously. But I mean, like you lost the map where you banned Wu Yang against them in the match, right?
My biggest regret was banning Wu Yang.
Right?
That was
it's like you've got them playing a comp where it's like they're completely confident that it's working and that it's going to get them over the line, but like all of the evidence in their hard matches points to the complete opposite direction. Like literally, like when you ban out their one trick comp and they play something that they've got less practice on, but they're like known to be good at, they just fucking win that way instead. And I feel like that's going to be something where surely after the 2 consecutive match losses playing Lucio Wuyang to both of the hard teams, they're probably going to have a moment of reflection and think, shit, maybe we should play a little bit of something else because we're actually really good at all of the something else too, and they're just constraining themselves to the one comp. It feels like it just feels outrageous at this point. I thought they were going to pivot after the first time, to be honest. I thought like after Liquid, but because Liquid were playing Boston on Sigma as the sole solution, maybe they needed more range of losing on Lucio Wu.
Well, we spoke to Ramon afterwards, after the Team Liquid loss. I think he talked about you remember the Esperanza comp where it was like Ball, Sombra, Cass, Wu Yang, Lifeweaver, like the Lifeweaver version with Wu Yang. I think Ramon talked about like how maybe that comp doesn't have the legs that they thought it did, and maybe they won't be playing that again. So maybe there was like a sign of it. You know how sort of Ice talked about earlier about having that sort of moment in that which series was it? Was TM series? The Icon World I'm thinking of, where Vest was on Sigma and he had that sort of like, if we could have a different tank that doesn't get focused. Yeah. I wonder if there's like Geekay's version of that hasn't come until week 5 and week 6 because that's just when they played SSG and Team Liquid. So they've sort of learned, maybe they learned a bit of a lesson on week 5 and maybe the lesson's fully gone here.
I mean, you could see like they rolled out on RAM on Volcano like very start, they're trying to like emulate what Extinction did versus SSG in the previous week, but with the caveat that they're still fucking playing Lucio Wuyang while they do it, So then UV has to play really close and he's in a fucking dangerous position, or Kuffer doesn't get the help that he otherwise would. And it's just like, I swear you guys would just be on, you would just be on Lucio Bap last stage and you just win the map, Like if Extinction can manage it, like surely Geekay can, but I mean, it's just a regular season game. It's not going to be the end of the world for them. And they just get a rematch versus SSG, right?
Yeah. Patch lets them reset anyway, like especially if the meta changes drastically, then
I mean it lets them reset, but it might just let Gultech put them on Lucio Moira Malga for another week. Who knows?
I worry too, like I don't know. Okay. Like I think for us, obviously because we get the win, perhaps that some cracks get shown over, but you can also see we're also like not all the way there yet, like there's a few bans and map situations where we're like a mini Gen.G in a way where like things start to look
a bit Gibraltar-y.
Yeah. It wasn't the best Gibraltar 2 weeks in a row.
You're lucky it's a brawl pool now, mate. You'll be fine.
Yeah, thank God for that.
You can just play Naga on Dorado or something. It'll buff out.
But yeah, I don't know. I think obviously, I would have took at the start. 6-1 season? I'd have took that all day.
So by way of comparison, right?
Yeah. And we would right there, like the 7-0 would have been amazing because that would give you map 1 pick. Like I think to go back to the Ilios thing, I think the Ilios thing in NA is really significant because unlike VP, Team Liquid are insane at Ilios, you know, and then they're in a situation where I mean, pretty much the whole season, apart from the one GK game, they get to lock in Ilios, and now for all the playoffs, they're just going to only prep that map, and they're going to have a Diva ban or whoever. So I think the first seed made a big difference. So that one ult fight on Siravasa really, you know, that could have been, like, honestly could have been so unbelievably pivotal. But I don't know, like I think every team's in with a good shot. And I think the patch there is gonna decide a lot, I suspect.
Do you reckon the patch made a difference? Like the fact that the teams had to make the decision before they say the patch? Because like I feel like for EMEA, it's like a really clear-cut decision. Like it's vision no matter what. And for North America, I feel like most anyone would probably also be picking Nightmare over Geekay, just, you know, based on the body of the results. But do you think it made like any difference? You know, like there's some patch where Nightmare would be somehow scarier than Geekay, or does it not really matter?
I think Nightmare are probably underrated by everyone. That's what I think. I think everybody, like, maybe people think there's a big 3. I actually think Nightmare are really close. Like I think it's a big qualify. 4. Yeah, I think it is a big 4. Yeah. But I also think I think regardless of the patch, I think GK are more scary when it really matters, you know?
You have to look at the team that's won the first 2 tournaments compared to the team that, you know, has scraped a 3rd seed once, you know? Like there's a big difference there. Especially
for Team Liquid, it's always Geekay, right? Like it's always Geekay who get them when the stakes are high and stuff. So you compare that to Nightmare, who I think they've beaten. Maybe they lost 1 regular season game in stage 2, but they beat them pretty consistent. They're pretty handily earlier in the stage. They've beaten them most of the time this year. I feel like that's the easiest way to book your ticket to Stockholm. So I couldn't see Team Liquid ever like risking it another way.
Yeah.
Even if because in the patch note, you know, unless you're like Cap on Twitter or something and you can just figure it all out immediately, it's really hard to actually interpret what the meta will be just from the patch notes. So I feel like
this is the worst patch ever, and no one will play Hitscan this patch. That's a fact. Okay, you can quote that. Hitscan has not been played.
See, I think on the Team Liquid note as well, it feels like they kind of are the top dog. Really hard to argue since they won the 2 games against the other, and they beat Nightmare as well. But I think it's like neck and neck. I feel maybe the nicest thing, like in the Team Liquid camp, is really nice if you're the team winning all the dogfights. Like I feel like when you speak to the players and stuff, it feels like there's sort of like something's clicked sort of mentally, or they now believe they are the clutch kings, right? Which I guess is in many ways that's half the solution right there.
I just sometimes with Liquid, it's the same thing I've said for ages. I just can't help but shake the idea that I feel like they should have won harder, you know? Like I still feel it's like it's closer than it should be given everything, you know? And maybe I don't know, maybe I rate their roster too high, or maybe the patch wasn't as good for them as like I have it in my head. I feel like the fact it's always like 3-2 and stuff, it feels like there should have been like some distance Team Liquid put in the rest of the pack. But I think everyone's going to go into the Team Liquid series thinking they can win, you know? Like even though they're good, everyone, like if we end up playing them, like there'll be confidence we can win for sure.
I think people underrate that Geekay versus Team Liquid game. Like Team Liquid looked like they wouldn't get 3-0'd for most of that series. Like until that, or like for a map and a half at least, right? Like it looked like they were not in that series until a sort of like one clutch just to get them to partway through second point, and then Zera and Tree just do God's work on the defense, and then all of a sudden confidence, you know. I think again they've talked about like they start slow in series, everything like this, which obviously kind of undermines their map pick a little bit as well. But it feels like it's just, you know, we've said it, I think, before on like London and stuff, right? And it's just like, if you're just winning the clutches, that stuff's like hard to fix or like adapt against, right? If you're the team losing the clutches as well, like it's really hard to like fix those things. So being that team, I think Team Liquid have an edge, but it's like slight edge. Do you want to talk about Nightmare more then? Because you kind of made the case that actually they're much closer to this top three than maybe they get credit for. Where's the patch that would bring them up there or have them take over?
So I don't know. I think with Nightmare specifically, like the way I see them is since they've just kicked Rhino out and only play Pink, I think they're just like they're SSG light in a lot of ways. Like when we would scrim them, we would have these weeks of scrims where they would just every map they would just see what comp we're on and they would just like play the same comps. You know, like it was funny to see like they would just mirror everything. And over time they've maybe gone their own way a little bit. But I think because they're an off-tank team, and I think because they have like similar strengths and weaknesses to us, I feel like a good patch for them is the same as a good patch for us. You know, like I think those things are probably linked. I guess my cope is that it's the same as like the Gen.G versus TM, where my feeling is sitting here as I remember when we played them in first week one. Like I feel you see the Xayah mirror Hawk versus Pink, you see there is a real significant player quality gap here, you know, like there is like even in scrims there is like consistently like a damage buff there. Maybe it's like if Hazard and Ram become the strongest two tanks in the game again, that becomes something where Pink is actually going to look as good as every other tank, and then that's probably the best patch for them. But for them, they probably are similar to us. They really want anti-dive options to still be remained, and then they want like Winston and ball nerfs as much as possible.
Yeah, feels like in general as well, like actually maybe Seeker's been the biggest surprise on Nightmare in some ways. Like I think he had a really disappointing stage 2, but it feels like back to his best, as you know, as much as he can prove in a regular season type thing. But it feels like he's been like a really important part of Nightmare, sort of in the times where they have taken maps and in their sort of domination, I guess, of the weaker teams as well. So it feels like he's kind of back in a big way. Backline, I think probably feels kind of similar, reasonable. I think Squid is actually a pretty nice option to have as well, with how much Wu Yang's being played. So yeah, I think there's legs in it. They're still not the favorite, I think, for Stockholm, but they're more in it than any of the other teams in NA, and more in it than any of the like bottom half of EMEA.
Great.
What's up with the there's like some weird thing going on with the meta, I guess, where in like Korea and in NA as well, people are playing Ram, and in EU just no one ever touches Ram. And like we think like Ram is absolute dog shit. So
yeah,
by scrimming SSG, we haven't gotten convinced of the Ram, to be honest.
I mean, that's okay. That's fair.
Whenever anyone picks Ram in scrims in EU, they just get like absolutely pounded. Like the Ram just gets like blasted from every side. And
yeah, we figured out before the GK game, but we figured out the weaknesses of Ram, which we didn't figure out in the Extinction game. But I also think if you're a team that's playing like Lucio and Xayah, I think Ram is actually really strong into that, you know? Like, I think that's what we felt. And it's maybe the same in Korea, because they just have their off-tank maps, right? It's just this designated region of like, everyone's just getting their off-tanks in. I think Ram becomes like a really good neutralizer of a lot of off-tanks. Whereas I think Ram versus like the ball is super kappa, versus like the really wide styles of super kappa. So I think everything you play, Ram is terrible against. Whereas actually, I think a lot of what we play, Ram is pretty effective into, you know, because you're just standing there and then the Ram is just 4,000 HP. Even now, you know, all you need to do is just block.
Still see Ram take outrageous amounts of damage and just not have to give a single inch of space.
And the thing is, there's no way Ram is getting nerfed this patch. Like it's only buffs possible because like
he's not getting nerfed.
Like either they leave him or he gets buffed. So like I think Ram has like it's just so unbelievably stat padded when the character was created by Jeff Kaplan that I think
thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
The only like where I can see Ram is like the Korean main tank teams, like the like let's say Wei, for example, they don't really have the Zarya option. So then I see why you would pick Ram if you can't play Zarya. But I still feel like even if you're playing like Zarya Lucio Kiri or something against Ram Lucio Kiri, you still have like an advantage, a clear comp advantage, and I think you're playing the better comp there, to be honest.
Yeah, well, Extinction
Extinction
showed us the hard way. Okay.
What was going on in that match? I didn't see anything of that. I
That
just saw
one
like
was
a bit of jib or something.
I mean, the jib was a bit of a nightmare, but maybe you just gotta go with the flow on that one.
Yeah.
Didn't you just like play lots of Reaper when you played Zarya or something?
I don't know. We had that week. Yeah, that week we had like. Yeah, I mean,
there's bubble tracer and light the ram up, and he just gets fucking pounded.
Yeah, I think we expected them to play ball because that's what they played the rest of the season, and that's what they played in a lot of scrims against us. And honestly, with respect to Extinction, the last time we scrimmed them, everyone on our team played mystery heroes and didn't come, and we still full cap. It felt like I guess I am saying that we really didn't expect a fight in that series. And I think we had a few things happen that week where we ended up accidentally, we didn't mean to, but we ended up taking 2 days off and we thought we'd just be fine. And then all of a sudden it felt like the comps that we were playing that were designed to be ball, actually it's really different against like a RAM that's just standing on point. I think Gibraltar is just probably going to need to start fixing that one before playoffs. Like that might be on the to-do list. But I don't know. Like I think the Ram was a hero that we hadn't played much against, and I think it was causing us struggles. But I think eventually we now understand why you guys don't play it in situations where it's good and bad.
It felt like you kind of solved it on the Samoa. Or do you think that was just like against Geekay, or was that just a bit like a Wu Yang, more of a Wu Yang thing than yours solved? But it felt like you guys slowed down massively during that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the RAM with Lu Wu is really trash, Like, I think that's one of the things that I know, obviously, that you guys on the stream were very critical of GK with not playing more of the RAM, but I think you have to sacrifice the Lu Wu in order to make the RAM work, because I think he requires too much upkeep, that Wu can't heal him through. And I think especially on the Kiri ban, it's way worse, because Zarya protects your team from the tidal blast, right? Like, we have outplay potential for their ults. Fuck me, Ram does nothing, So it's like you were saying, Lenny gets tidal blast. It's a guaranteed one fight. Like, I don't actually think their comp has counterplay. Like, I actually don't think there's anything you can do.
I don't think it was UV making mistakes or Admiral making mistakes or anything like this. It's like, what do you want him to do? Like, he can either, maybe if he really times the fucking movement ability, he like can shift out and dodge it, but it's really hard.
The reason Kiri has been the best hero in fucking Overwatch history is it counters an ult with one ability. So no matter what the ult, if you save your ability for it, then you can have a chance in the ult economy, Wu doesn't have that. So the reason the Sigma was so effective, in my opinion, on map 5 against Liquid was because all of a sudden Flux, which is just an absolute waste of an ult against Kiri, that's actually a fight win. Because if he sucks anyone up, they can't survive type thing. And I think in general, there is like, Wu is actually really good against Ram. Like, Wu really pounds the Ram because you've got no way of reaching the Wu and it's just like endless damage. So I think that in general, the teams that get to play Wu against Ram are able to win, and vice versa. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably not as strong as we led the world to believe with the Extinction game. I think we just at the time didn't expect it and didn't have an answer for it.
But even in Korea or in China as well, I saw in the like Weibo versus CC, it was like just like tapping in a little bit and saw like Hollywood Ram Simmer or something, and just so confused. Like
I think Jushway took the Zarya mirror and got absolutely pounded by Billadeng, and then decided, like, same as you were saying earlier, right? Like, we can't. Zarya mirror is no go. Let's try something else.
Yeah, that's like the only that I understand it for that, but Winston is still fine, right? Surely Gushway can whip out a Winston against Zarya, right?
I mean, if there's anyone
it's not that good, but yeah, surely he's good for it. Yeah, I don't know.
Off tank map, mate. It's hybrid.
Of course. Like a Ram. I really didn't expect to see a Ram Simmer in China. I was more expecting Winston Annas or some honest gameplay. I was like symmetric.
They love Zarya, to be fair. They love Zarya so much. If there's like an excuse to have a
Chinese
Zarya
actually
meta,
love Zarya, yeah.
Yeah, they need no second invitation. So like, And to be fair, like CC, I guess are probably actually more of an off-tank team. I think Billading's actually played most of this stage now. Or maybe ground tank is... we'll change his off-tank main tank to ground and dive. But yeah, more of a ground tank guy. So I think there's a little bit of stuff lining up for them. I guess the same old Weibo sort of thing of like not the same team when they can't just dive everywhere type thing. But I mean, it was still a 4-2, right? So is there any legs in any of these other North American teams?
Nope.
No legs?
Not even
maybe an
half a leg.
Orisa meta? If there's an Orisa meta, if it's just Orisa only,
Zeb's got... Move on.
Zeb's got 2 legs, maybe even a 3rd leg.
No legs.
What level are those NA teams, by the way? I never know, like how do they compare to, like, I only saw the D0NGHAK versus Quick, and Quick just got absolutely fisted. But like, what about like how good is Team Z?
I mean, do you want me to just do like a run through of like all the teams that aren't top 4, like real fast?
Yeah, on, I know nothing. I have zero knowledge about them. And
okay, I mean, I think Sakura's like really cummy, but has like surprising results, like pretty consistently. I think X10's like really, really underrated, but also seems to be like, you know, the victim of their own desire to like not play all that much, something like that. Where it feels like, you know, she's on rosters, but then like, you know, she also like, I think doesn't necessarily want to play all the time, something like that. Like takes breaks from competition and whatnot. I remember like when Freya came out last time, X10 looked really, really good, you know, like looked way better at Freya than what you would expect from someone that's on like a 6th place team. And then this stage again, like they've subbed in, and like I think she plays like Reaper and all the hit scans, and like she's just fucking dominating like in these like mid-table games, like actually hard fucking carrying. And they put PDK in, and like, you know, PDK he's got some potential on him too, but like, you know, X10 is just wildly overperforming. I think like does really, really well. But Sakura is just destined to not be like even close to like the top 4, just, you know, due to the strength of the rosters. Then you look like even deeper down in the list in like the Comlo rankings, and it's like you've got Team Z, and it's like they've got the Ryan Peace lineup, where it's like, you know, it's like your Tracer Gen.G dream team, but like it's not actually that much of a dream. I think Ryan, like, you know, he hard deadlifted like over the weekend to like knock Extinction out of the tournament. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's not like Ryan's the #1 Tracer in North America or anything like that, you know. He's just like, he's quite good at Tracer. Peace quite good at Gen.G, but, you know, being like quite good at one of these heroes, it just doesn't like, you know, remotely hold up to the standard of like what the top 4 teams can do, where it's like everyone in the top 4 teams are quite good at these heroes. Yeah, exactly. Like everyone in the top 4 is good at these heroes, but then they're also good at like 5 other heroes too. At least, you know, we've got ourselves like a Zeb and such on Sakura, or, you know, like an Astro has got an Orisa on him for Team Z. But ultimately, like these players are just getting gapped on like a majority of the heroes in the pool by the people that are in top 4. So there's like some bright spots, and there's some people that have like some promise. But, you know, like you'd have to combine all of them to have like super team where they can all play their one tricks in order for them to beat into the top 4. So, you know, you'd need to have the roster where it's like it's Zeb on all of his best ground tanks, plus X10 on all of her best heroes, plus, you know, maybe Ryan and a fucking Tracer meta. And then, you know, you just have to like invent new supports, because I feel like the support talent just like doesn't really compare to the top 3 even, or, you know, top 4 optimistically. Extinction was like the ultra disappointment team of the stage, where it was like, you know, they had a little bit of heart. And, you know, they did really well in the week before. Like they, you know, literally took little Chrissy over here to map 5 playing Ramatra. But ultimately, like the results throughout the stage have been like pretty catastrophically shit. Like I think they just locked themselves in for relegation by losing to Team Z. You know, Vision has like, you know, he'll have like a Hanzo map per series. He'll lock Hanzo and shit on everyone for an entire map.
He's so good at Hanzo,
but
to be fair.
He's actually, you know, he's actually genuinely he's a fucking demon on Hanzo. And, you know, Hitori will have like, you know, a couple of sick primal rages per series as well. Or like, you know, one good like Mike Tyson's punch out session where she'll just run it down on the back line and punch everyone out. But like, these are not the requisite ingredients to like actually be a top 4 team, you know? It's just like, you know, you need to be able to do this with more consistency than like one map or a couple of fights throughout a series. And the backline for Extinction was fucking always dead, and they were just shit on. And then who was 8th? It was D0NGHAK. I mean, who was
They sing. I mean, like, sing all the time.
They sing, and, you know, the prod, like they get so sick of, you know, having the casters waffle that instead they just fucking do listen-ins for like 15 minutes straight of a series. What a treat! Hopefully they cut down to 6 or 7 teams next year.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
I think for the first few weeks of the season, every time we had a scrim versus the bottom 4, we would get complaints that it was a complete waste of time. You know, like it was just you couldn't drop a map even if you wanted to. And then maybe Extinction consistently take maps. Like there was rumors that like Sakura was taking a lot of maps off GK and stuff in scrims, but I don't know. My feeling is there's still probably quite a chasm there when the pressure's on. I think it's the same take I had last year, plus or minus Nightmare, but I still think I would take Vision and Gen.G and stuff over the bottom 4 NA.
Yeah, for sure, right?
And then I don't know if PEPS versus Sakura, I don't know how competitive that is, but
That'll be a good match.
Yeah.
I'll tune in. Just so sad what happened with Quick Esports and D0NGHAK. I was so sad. The worst EU just got absolutely. I mean, only thing I've seen from D0NGHAK was them just like trolling on Ryan Jones. I had like no idea about the power level or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was pretty shocked by that Team Z result, but also watched the game, really felt fair enough. I think Extinction will be disappointed, especially, you know what I mean? You go map 5 with SSG, and then you get knocked out by Team Z the next week. Like that feels pretty rough, actually. I mean, like even we spoke to Ryan from Team Z. He was talking about how it like might be the last time the team was playing together. So I think they were even kind of sort of soft expecting that this could be where it ends. But I mean, fair play. They won the game. But I think, you talked about Nightmare being like an SSG light. I feel like Sakura are just a Nightmare light. Like they're just all the same strength, same comps, but just a tier below. So yeah.
It's amazing how much better teams like Extinction and stuff looked once they gave up playing like the fucking ball meta comps. Like it's infinitely easier playing round.
You know what? It happens in EMEA too, but I think it happens more in NA. Is I feel like there's like small team syndrome so much. I think Team Z suffered from all this small team syndrome where basically you lose to the big team playing whatever comp they want, so you just copy their comp.
Yeah,
and then you'll just then trap yourself in a situation where you can never win. Because I'm watching like Astro on Team Z play a Zarya mirror up against like Zeb or something, and I'm like, this can't be the way through. You know, like there's got to be another hero that we can put in here. Or they just end up in like a Zarya Reaper mirror. Maybe it was against Sakura. They end up in like a Zarya Reaper mirror against Sakura, and I was like, it's just their best comp. What's happening? You know. So I think there's a lot of that basically where they just sort of get tricked into or trick themselves into playing the same comps as the top teams, and then are just left in a situation where they can just never threaten any of those teams because it's just comfort heroes versus comfort heroes, except one team has like a huge player quality gap. I feel Sakura may be a little bit better at that because Zeb is so locked on the ground that they do actually just lean into Zeb, just playing fucking Malga on Orisa on Gibraltar or something and say, fuck it, this is just going to happen. So I kind of have like a bit more time for that. Anything else to add for North America, or should we hit the KR?
Let's hit it up.
Hitting it. So status, I've explained it 1 billion times on stream, but for everyone else's benefit, we've just finished the regional playoffs for Korea, and what the regional playoffs in Korea mean is 6 teams are now going to go to the Road to World Finals. The Road to World Finals is the important tournament for Korea, and that is going to happen in a couple of weeks or 2 weekends from now. Now it's going to be the top 6 teams, of which the top 3 teams from those 6 go to Stockholm, and that's where we find out which Korean teams are going in what order. The format for that is the top 3 teams from the tournament this weekend, which are Crazy Raccoon, T1, and Wei. They go into a double elimination playoff bracket in that Road to World Finals. The remaining 3 teams are in a single elimination play-ins, where the winner of those 3 teams gets to go join in that top double elimination bracket. Those bottom 3 teams are Onside Gaming and Falcons in the first game, and the winner of that goes to play Zeta in a single elimination game. And then the winner of that game joins our big 3 to make a big 4. Those big 4 will play a double elimination, leaving 3 teams, and then we get 3 teams in Stockholm, if that all makes sense. Give or take a bit. But long story short is basically Zeta have to play Falcons in a single elimination game, most likely, just to even get to the real playoff portion of it. Only one of those teams can go through.
Tough one.
And yeah, and Zeta are just, I mean, they're just fucked, I think.
They really are just never making a LAN again. Like, it's actually insane. But I mean, what a surprise! I remember when they first signed Mag. I remember I said something about how, you know, like at some point they're just gonna have to like play Banana, and like it's not gonna work. And I got people in the comment section because it was that same week that Mag like like he must have beat like Falcons or something, you know. And then people were in the comment section on Uncoachable saying, "Oh, what a surprise! Fuck you, Chris." Well, you know what? I was right. Okay, just you had to wait for it. We had to wait for a bit of time, as always.
If you wait long enough,
I'm always right. But yeah, I don't know. I guess should we start with Zeta? But I don't know. It feels like they've really fell off because they did start, especially when it was the Gen.G Tracer iteration of the meta. They started pretty well, right?
Well, they kind of started well, but they've just struggled through so many series. It's this really, I guess, bizarre situation where Pelican and Alpha Yi, when we were all this Tracer Gen.G, Tracer Echo, whatever, Reaper, Tracer, Gen.G, Reaper, you know, Pelican and Alpha Yi looked like probably the best two players in Korea. And this DPS line was just miracle after miracle after miracle. And what that got Zeta Division was a few 5-map dogfights against bottom half of the table teams. And a couple of decent results, I think, against some of the top. They beat one of the top teams, if I remember right.
Did they beat Falcons?
They
beat Falcons. Yeah, maybe actually that Falcons game got them some of this because they beat Falcons, but then it turned out Falcons were kind of just a bit arse this stage as well. So it feels like Zeta Division have had like a really great regular season performance from their two DPS players and like a strong meta for them, but it's not actually translated into any impressive standings or results or anything like that. So now they're up against only the big dogs. They just getting beat. And the fashion in which they got beat every weekend was like, you talked earlier about Vision. And there's a certain point in the Vision series, you can just call it, right? You just know it's over. Like, as soon as that first sort of minute on that King's Row for Vision happens, you're just like, it's never going to fucking happen. It's over. I felt like the same thing happened to Zeta Division, where like 2 maps into the series, they just looked beat. It looked like there was no way they were going to drag themselves back into it. And that's a really bad trait to have if you got to beat Falcons in 2 weeks' time.
I thought he was
talking to us.
Yeah. Dice just fucked up. I think the thing is too, I mean, regardless of the patch, I have no faith in them in that huge stakes game against Falcons. There's just no hope, is there? You know, like Falcons are gonna. I still think Falcons are gonna qualify for LAN. Like they just always fucking do. You know,
if there's some stakes on the line, then
that's it.
Yum.
Yum to that.
By the way,
I'm looking at, it could be worse, you know, because I felt like that Way, like I don't know, Way is maybe an interesting one because a few weeks ago they looked fucking 1 week ago they looked so dreadful, like completely cooked, rolled by everyone. They went to like that insane. Who did they lose? Or did they go to?
They lost, right?
They got 3-0'd by Onside Gaming, which is like the opener Kellen team,
and then they just fucking figured it out, and then all of a sudden they beat. Did they beat Falcons? Right? Did they beat Falcons?
Yeah, they beat Falcons.
And then 4-0'd Zeta, and then
4-2 versus Crazy Raccoon. So actually, the team that has played Crazy Raccoon the closest in this part of the tournament is Way.
I felt that Way team
they got
like
the max maps, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. They won the max.
Yeah, that's another. What a surprise, you know.
But
I felt somewhere that team had just.
Go
on, you go. Sorry,
I'm looking at the bracket. Is it better to just be second seed in Korea? No, like Crazy Raccoon are gonna have to play Falcons, and T1 get to play Way. It's like
I think you're right. Easier. Yeah. So the way it works, we already have our bracket for our top half of the teams, which means T1 and Way are already locked in that other bracket. And then we've got first versus fourth, the fourth obviously being the play-ins team, which is going to be either Falcon, Zeta, or Onside Gaming if everybody decides to ship the sheets that weekend. But what that means is Crazy Raccoon and Falcons are going to play each other first round. And then someone has to go to the lower bracket. And obviously, you always back Crazy Raccoon, right? All the stakes for plot armor, everything we say about Falcons really true for Crazy Raccoon. But it's just scary, isn't it? Because suddenly it's a single elimination game. If you lose, you don't go to Stockholm. If you win, you do go to Stockholm. So I think it's a little bit rough for Crazy Raccoon, even given the stage Falcons have had.
Yeah,
Maybe
I was
a
going to
lot-
say, like,
Oh, go on.
fucking nightmare this segment.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I felt somewhere that Way had missed their time in the sun, you know, like they were, because they were really disappointing at EWC, right? Like they
Didn't win a map.
underperformed, and they got dropped by their rogue, and none of their players left, you know, like you felt that maybe there was like an opportunity, like you look at like Bliss to Zeta, you thought, well, maybe that should have been like Lee Soo-min, like that was his chance to step up, you know, and maybe even like, I don't know, is Milgaru a better player than Mag? Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Milgaru was super young as well, like 19 or 18.
And then they play this stage, and you think, "Fuck!" Like we rose up out of nowhere. Everyone was really impressed with us, you know. We had opportunities to make it as a team. It didn't quite work. Everybody should just take an opportunity to earn money, you know, like try to get yourself into like a partner team. And I feel like either none of them got the offer or none of them did. And then I thought, fuck, like they're all just gonna kind of sink back down. But I don't know. All of a sudden, they look super reasonable again. Like I still think they're gonna probably lose. My guess would be they're gonna lose both games at LAN. Like I think they're gonna finish 4th. But
it's scary, I think, for the other teams, because I feel like with Way, it's just every week to week, just unpredictable. Yeah. You're going to get them like nearly losing to a bottom side of a table team. Then the next week they'll be Zeta. Same again in this like LCQ. Like, oh, we just got 3-0'd by onside. And then the next day, they're just back and they win the dogfights, you know. And then they beat Falcon. They lose to Onside Gaming and they beat Falcons in the same weekend. Like, how do you?
Yeah.
What do you make of those two results? Like, how do you power rank this team? But I think they've probably shown enough now where if I'm these other teams, it's, you know, like in EMEA, we talk about like Twisted Minds. Maybe there's like, you're a bit worried about if they'll finish second or first, or if how much of a chance they have. But you're never worried Twisted Minds aren't going to qualify. I feel like Way are good enough that if you're T1, Crazy Raccoon, Falcon, you have to like really respect Way and be quite worried about them here. Like, I think that top 4, presuming Falcons win the play-ins, like Falcons, Crazy Raccoon, T1, Way, and somebody has to go out, I think it's really scary for all the teams, actually, especially considering Crazy Raccoon play Falcons first as well. There's a chance for it to get really messy, even for them.
Do you think? I think it's like a foregone conclusion in my head. Like
Way just go 4th and the other 3 going.
I think that's what I think happens. I think the 3 teams in Korea that are going to go, to me, look really obvious, you know, and it's just which order do they finish.
Yeah, that's kind of up to patch, right? Like if like ground tanks are better, then maybe Falcons have a better shot. But if dive tanks are better, then T1 or Crazy Raccoon have a better shot. But
yeah,
I feel like Way have like a way better matchup into Falcons than they do into T1 or Crazy Raccoon, because they're kind of like just worse on all the dive comps than T1 or Crazy Raccoon. Like if they're like in a bomber against Junbin or D0NGHAK, then it's just always rough for them. I feel like they just don't really have that much chance to win against them. But if they can get that against Falcons, maybe they have a higher chance. Or if they can play like dive versus a ground tank or something, dive is strong, then they have like a better chance, I guess.
It's like we saw in that Way Crazy Raccoon series, right? Is when they can trick Crazy Raccoons to put a max in, they can win. But unfortunately, the other 4 maps, it's just a Winston or a Ball Mirror against Junbin.
Yeah.
And just, there's a reason Junbin's on the council and Milgaru isn't, you know? Like,
exactly.
So, yeah, I think you're right. I guess where would Way and Falcons meet? In that lower bracket, in theory, then?
Yeah,
presuming
I feel like it kind of
win.
All depends on the like how the meta rolls out, right? Like
match.
If the Falcon style is strong, like if like some Ram or Zarya is like super strong and dominant, then like Falcons have like a really good shot, right? Of beating Crazy Raccoon or T1 as well. But if it's like a hard ball meta and ground tanks aren't that strong, then it's a little bit rough for Falcons against them.
These fuckers have the nuke ball, right? Like if we're all being honest, this hero is so broken.
I feel like ball can get like a little buff, like it's really
says the only ball in the EMEA.
What do we need to do? We need to make it so his E, you can only use it once a map. It's not a cooldown. It's like you can only press E a single time, and then he's balanced. You know, like I swear to God, if they put the kid gloves on with ball, because he's banned in every ranked game, right? Like you can never fucking play it in ranked.
Yeah, most of the time. That's like the rough part. You can't really practice him that much in ranked.
Yeah,
like,
but I think that's where they get their stats from. That's what they. You have.
Yeah, but only in high elo, mate. Only in high elo. Like
Well,
I
of
don't
course,
think in
dude.
like Diamond I don't think Diamond is like struggling versus Ball
Oh, fuck.
because they're
I
just
mean,
like probably
honestly,
playing Ball
if
like
this-
Mauga or something, just walking around with the miniguns, you know?
I'll be so mad if he's untouched. Especially they're gonna take out my girl Zaya too. You know, that's gonna be a real fucking problem for me, to be honest with you. I mean, because Zaya's pretty broken too, I suspect.
Is Zarya that broken? I feel like just the Zarya counters aren't that good anymore. Like before, Ram was just like super OP, and that's why Zarya was trash.
I feel it's
Because
just
you
always
just pick
the
Ram and
perks. Like,
Zarya just loses.
I feel like energy perk is so nice, actually.
Ah, yeah,
Like,
that made that made
Which
her
one, the
like,
right-click
so
one?
much more
It's-
powerful. Yeah, the
it's
minor one.
the level. This is what it's over time. You remember when perks first came out and we discussed what would be broken, and everyone always looked at the level 2, like the final perks. And actually, the hero balance, the most important thing is your minor picks. You know, the reason Reaper is broken is because he has an insane minor pick. The reason Sim was broken last patch is because of the minor pick. That's the one that changes everything. The major pick, if your hero is shit, like remember Farah had that insane like sucking boop perk. That was one of the best perks in the game, but it took you too long to get it that you couldn't justify it. If that was a minor pick, Farah would probably be like fucking hard meta permanently or something, you know. So if they do what they do every patch and they rework all the perks, which I think they will, right? I think if they take that one out, then Xayah, even if they don't change anything else about Xayah, I feel like she might be in trouble.
You think there's any legs for T1 here? Because I feel like every time I watch them, I'm so convinced they have all the player quality to do something major or to win one of these big, like important qualification tournaments. But I don't know if we're just in nothing ever happens theory. It can't happen until it happens. But I don't know. It was a pretty disappointing loss, I think, to Crazy Raccoon. It just felt like Junbin was just better than D0NGHAK, actually, in most of these mirrors, just on the ball.
Yeah, it's a little bit rough for them if they're worse than in the dive, then they just lose that matchup, and then it's kind of rough.
I'm fully confident they'll make it to LAN. Like I don't worry that T1. I think they're good enough, more established as a team where I think they are going to make it. But I'm equally convinced they're not going to lift the trophy.
Yeah,
second or third, like no doubt. But I don't see first or fourth. Because they were they who was first seed this season?
Crazy Raccoon.
Oh, because T1 beat Crazy Raccoon, right, in the regular season, but T1 lost the Falcons or something, whereas is that what happened? It is, right?
Yeah, T1 3-0'd Crazy Raccoon.
Yeah.
But then which is why it gave him like the slight lead, I guess.
Yeah, but it's something to do with stakes and something to do with Yum, you know? Like that's just all it is. It's just no matter every theory we've tested on the podcast, stake theory just
disproves everything.
It's like the opposite of Avril theory, you know? It actually just stands up over time.
The more tests you run, the more it just gets cemented into. Does this just mean it has to change to a law at a certain point?
Ooh,
at what point is it proven and it becomes a
Oh.
stake law?
Stake law? I kind of like that actually.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I'm actually
Stake
going
law.
with stake law.
I think we've got enough evidence to upgrade it.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Agreed.
I guess
The problem if it's a law, then if it gets broken once, then you're kind of in a pickle. Like if Falcons
And
have
you
like
send them to
an
jail.
absolute dog.
Basically to jail if they break the law.
Well, if Zeta Division beat Falcons, then I think it's fair to say for Falcons players should be sent to jail.
Yes,
Yeah,
agreed.
exactly.
I
They
think we
broke
all
the law.
agree.
Yeah, they break. Yeah,
In the cell with
Agreed.
Stalker. Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
I guess the nice thing for Korea is time, right? They don't have to play this weekend. They get to play the weekend after, so they get a chance to scrim the patch a little bit more, and they also get a chance to see what the other regions are doing first as well.
Yeah, I mean that is nice. I would appreciate an extra week, but
What can you do?
I guess
What-
you don't play
what are you
till
gonna
Saturday. Yeah.
It is what it is.
Do you think
that's what it is.
casting our minds to all regions now, do you think there's any of these teams that are in these contentions for top spots that are just better at adapting to a new meta quicker or figuring out a meta faster?
Usually Geekay is pretty good at finding a meta fast, right? Like they kind of like gamble, and then if they get the right roll, then they can be really strong really fast, and if they get a wrong roll, then they're gonna be shit or something. Because with they were like
commit
picking the
early.
Lucio Wu Yang
Yeah.
fast, like in the beginning, and then they were like just dominating everyone, right? In NA. And another time they
maybe.
just insta-picked the Mauga, Kiri, like Moira Lucio, and just absolutely got destroyed. So maybe they just like kind of like gambling or something. Maybe they can find the meta quick.
I still think what happens, especially in NA, is everyone just scrims, and then they wait for the first scrim code of Korea scrims, and every team just fucking hard copies it. You know, like it's happened. Like it. I think this entire season it's happened. You know. I think those first few days of your independent practice are completely irrelevant to the scientifically tested Korean practice methods, where they will figure it out, you know. Remember when every fucking team in EU overnight was playing Sim Torb Ball because the Korean practice environment had established the meta, you know? And that's just how it's always, I think it's how it's always going to be.
The same for Tracer Gen.G, right? There was like that
exactly.
Korean wave.
Yeah.
And then, like, if anyone has an excuse, it probably is VP when you have Jwoo and Kev. But it felt like there was a point in America as well where just the same thing happened, and then even Team Z gave up on it in the end.
Yeah, its gun's just too broken. Sorry to say, capitology.
You're not sorry to say that at all.
I'm not.
I thought Max was going to talk, but he tricked me.
You're muted, mate. Hard muted.
You're muted.
Whoopsies.
Yeah,
I didn't have much to contribute anyway, so it's fine. Yeah.
Anything to add for Korea? No? Should be good.
Nope.
Should be good, to be fair. Yeah.
Moving on.
Then, I guess, brief, we mentioned it earlier, but Weibo and Team CC have secured themselves the first two spots at Stockholm. Weibo in that top seed after winning 4-2 in the grand final. Team CC into second place. But the big surprise, the big shock in China was Milk Tea. I think they finished 5th in the regular season, if I remember right. They knocked out Rock Esports. Rock Esports really making a great case for the most cursed organization ever. As even with a 2 import team, you know, they finished 3rd in the previous 2 stages. Flora and Bella3 are their imports. They got dragged into a map 5 versus Milk Tea, and they lost it. If you're looking for Rock, you actually have to go all the way back to the first round of the lower bracket on that graphic to find exactly where they got knocked out. And that's, pretty devastating for all the Rock Esports fans, which, like, 4 people maybe. But, absolutely shocking result for Rock Esports in this.
I love China, but didn't watch a single minute of it.
I mean, what I know is you don't want to end up in a map 5 against Milk Tea. That's looking rough.
Seems to be.
It's the only thing.
Beat him in 3 or you won't beat him at all.
Yeah. I saw, like, on Twitter, they have, like, they were playing, like, from a team house or something, Milk Tea, and I was, like, thinking, like, why is Milk Tea in a team house, you know? Like, top 5 China in a team house. Like, I was shocked.
Everything's better in China.
Yeah.
Agreed.
In EMEA, only VP of the team house. In China, even Milk Tea have a team house.
As well.
Bet your Milk Tea's house is bigger than yours as well.
Probably, most likely.
Then is there any other Overwatch action covered? All the regions caught up? All the playoffs previewed? We talked about Saudi E-League a little bit in terms of Twisted Minds winning that one.
Client of the week.
Might be time for Client of the Week then. So it's been a while, so we have to do this bit we're really, really bad at, where we remember all the things that have happened in the last month of our lives. Now we want to bring to the fore. So
there's clearly a timing, you know. If you do something really clienty, but it's between episodes, we'll forget about it and you'll get a pass. Like the worst thing to do is to be a client
a week
day
after
before
we release.
Recording.
Yeah, if you do it right after we release an episode, that's your biggest stretch to get it in.
Get away with anything, unless Capitology, because I've remembered and he's getting brought up here.
Yeah, is this the patch tweet?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the tweet handy, but I think just him in general, like after the mid-season patch saying this is, I'm sure he literally said it's the worst patch in Overwatch history and that the devs need to hire him because they don't know what they're doing. and talking about how hitscan is hard dead and it needs big buffs because it's never going to be played in this state. And everyone, every single one of you guys at home watching right now that fucking cried about Hog being meta, just grow up and just fucking grow up, okay? Just give it more than 30 seconds before you cry like a child about fucking things. Do you know how long it took me before I started to cry about Ilios? It was years of abuse from Ilios, and then I started to cry about it because I was sure. But you guys cry about Roadhog before he's even hooked you, you know? Like, oh, just everyone, like, just fucking shut the fuck up about the patch. You don't have a clue. Stop calling it a good patch or a bad patch. Like, you even have a fucking idea. The meta will change in 4 weeks. It always does. The meta on day 1 is never the meta in week 4. You have no clue. Fuck you.
Can I cry now? Because tomorrow's patch, or the patch in 4 hours, is literally the worst patch that they've ever put out.
It's gonna be even worse.
I would respect it more if it was a preemptive cry. Like if you cried before you knew, it's actually more respectable.
I cried in advance. I'm saying it now. It's the worst patch they've ever done.
Worst patch?
Terrible decisions across the board.
Yeah.
Seriously, if they want to reach out to me, I can help them fix their game. If they would like to reach out to
They're
me.
censoring him. They're censoring him.
He's been censored. Blizzard actually turned on the interference dial there.
They don't want to hear this.
Criticize our patch, will you?
God damn it.
So that's.
It's getting
I was
worse and
thinking
worse,
we should.
man.
I was thinking, should we give Cap another client of the week? But that's insane, right? Because that
How
would
many
give him
does he
like
have?
7.
That would be
Like,
his third, right?
No.
Wait,
that's
you know, this reminded me as well. Did you see also when Zeta Division lost, Cap tweeted as well, like, give me the keys, I'll get you a pizza. And I was just like,
Give it to Cap.
what?
Give it to Cap.
One, clearly this is just Cap's way of getting a job, which maybe explains why he currently doesn't have a job. and also, imagine being like, look, let me run your team and I'll get you a single map. As if that's what Zeta want. As if they're pulling Moby Dick into crisis meetings saying, Moby, if you can't get us a map, it's over. But if you get us a map, everything's fine.
I would fucking I would pay for some sort of reality TV show where we give Cap the reins to Zeta Division and film the behind the scenes. I'd be all over it. Like listening, comms, but really get the whole thing. It would be so good.
I mean, Zeta can't qualify for a major event, so actually their best path might be just turning it into a reality TV show.
True. It would at least get views. It would get better.
Monetize
it. All right. And then that leaves, ironically, the other client of the week nominee also must have won it more than once, right? This can't be the first time the SEL admins or whatever this shit is gotten.
I think
so it's like a head-to-head clash here.
Depends
Was this even the SEL?
It depends how we want to take it, right?
True, actually. We need to decide guilt first, don't we?
Yeah, there's as the judge, jury, and executioner in this situation. Yeah, I'll let you decide which one of the three of us is which. So the situation is there was a big old statement coming out from. Let me get the name right here so we can, I guess, attribute blame properly. The Saudi Esports Federation, which I believe is essentially like a regulatory body for esports in Saudi Arabia. So essentially above Saudi League is a tournament organizer, and this federation is above them and will be responsible for all of esports, I guess, sort of like a governing body, like think the FA in football type thing, you know? So basically, they released a statement where they'd investigated a series of occurrences that happened in Saudi League, and they doled out a series of fines and suspensions to various players. There was quite a lot of fines and suspensions to go around. There was a lot of blame to go around. There was a lot of guilt to be diagnosed here. So first one was for Twisted Minds. The entire team was actually punished for refusing to play a match. But Twisted Minds in the investigation meeting basically pinned it all on Yubi. Yubi said it wasn't the team, it was me. I should tank the fine and the suspension for the team, for I am the one who did it. So therefore, Yubi has received a pretty heavy suspension, suspended from Saudi Elite competition for a month. But the rest of Twisted Minds weren't suspended for that incident, at least. There were other suspensions as well. So Yubi got a big fine for that one, won't be allowed to play for a month. Twisted Minds got a smaller fine as an organization. During some of these incidents as well, there was I think players just having a go at the admins. So misconduct or being rude or stuff like this. I think Quartz got a fine for that. Lubta got a fine for that. Ziad got a fine for that, all in that sort of $500 mark. And then Qadsiah, and this was a separate incident, also involving TM, but this time the TM incident was against Vision. This Qadsiah incident was them playing Twisted Minds when there was an issue with the rosters. Saudi E-League states that they use OWCS rules for the bans and the order, which means you submit the roster and then you get to do the bans. This was Qadsiah were then requested to ban, and they said, we've not seen the roster. We need to see the roster beforehand. And the admin said, no. And I'm going to be careful here because I forget the exact details, because I think they play the first map still, maybe. And then like they just complain but accept it, essentially, and then do the ban. And then second map, it happens again, and they refuse to show him Twisted Minds roster. And Qadsiah say, we're not banning until you show us the roster. And the admins say, well, no, we're not going to show you the roster. And then this is where it gets, this is, I think, the divisive moment on like whose side of a story you believe, where it's then Qadsiah believe they were told, well, if you're not going to submit the ban, then you have to forfeit. At which point Qadsiah went, fine, we forfeit then. And then this is the incident, and then there's a bit of a dispute about that part of it, you know, in terms of, did Qadsiah forfeit because they were told they had to, or did Qadsiah actually refuse to play the match? Like, which one of those is true? And then obviously afterwards, some of the players went on Twitter, including Coach Junbin, to basically be a bit sarcastic about the whole situation. At which point, these comments have been interpreted and labeled, I should get the correct quote here, but basically misinformation. For posting false or misleading info about the match on Twitter. And for this, he has been fined 30,000 SAR or $8,000, which is a lot.
How can they even fine a coach? How do you fine him?
What happens if he doesn't pay?
I had people talking about this in my Twitch chat. This might be like multiple layers of like misinformation here, but like they found like the original like document in Arabic for the ruling, and I think again I feel like I shouldn't be quoted on this because I'm just repeating something that's been said in the chat. But what was said in the chat was that essentially like because these fines are being put on by the Saudi Esports Federation, right? Not by Saudi E-Leagues. Because these are going through the federation, and all of the Saudi organizations get some sort of like PIF funding, basically. They can order the organizations to withhold salary by, withdrawing a portion of the funding, something like that. So I think the fines can directly be imposed that way because there's like PIF assistance to the orgs, and the SEF has like a direct tie-in to the governing body. Essentially, if they impose a fine, it must be imposed because they can withdraw the funding, or they can withhold a certain amount of the funding. Yeah.
Maybe TU was just getting fined insane money every week. We just didn't know about it.
Possible. It's possible.
The problem was your tweets, Chris.
Every time I went on this podcast, they watched it and they fined TU like 20K.
It's 8K for a tweet. What is it for a 3-hour podcast?
That's true, honestly. Team management, can this guy stop getting fined?
So yeah, there's like a good amount of like slightly different sides of the story here, right? In terms of exactly who was at fault in terms of the actual incident itself, between the admins and Qadsiah, because it seems like the version of events from Saudi E-League and Qadsiah is different. But all in just seems like another incident in a long line of incidents of poor tournament management, confusing admin decisions that have just led to all these situations. And it kind of culminated because when this was announced, it was announced the first day, I think, of Saudi E-League playoffs, where Twisted Minds and Qadsiah were playing each other. And as well as a lot of those fines we mentioned before, a lot of the players were suspended for one game. Yubi was suspended for a whole month, but Ziad, Lubta, Quartz were all suspended for one game. And what this meant is the match still went ahead, but Qadsiah had to play 4v5 with Checkmate on tank. TVNT obviously stepping in on hit scan, so no real difference there for Twisted Minds between TVNT and Quartz. Haku comes in, Kellex moves on to the sole DPS role. Spoiler warning, but Twisted Minds won this match as well.
Did you see the casters were full, like, selling it, you know?
Just
you know how
yeah.
Uber has such a hard time casting Dilduk series because he's like, well, everyone's just taking the fucking piss here. These Saudi casters did not have that problem. They had no problem whatsoever. I got time for that. But then the question is, who's to blame? Like, was what Junkbuck tweeted not true? Is that what we now have to believe? Do we believe it?
Well, obviously,
what did he tweet exactly?
It's been.
I think he tweeted similar to what.
My recounting
of process, right?
Yeah, my recounting of the events is mostly based off like that. Like again, like not an exact quote here, so pinch of salt and all of that, because the original tweets have been deleted, but. That seems to be the main cause of dispute, right? Because if Qadsiah's interpretation of what happened is correct, then Junkbuck isn't spreading misinformation, then basically, you know, and then therefore the fine doesn't have the same validity. So it depends who you believe in that version of things, but honestly, given the reputation Saudi E-League has, I don't think it's a stretch to believe something like this would be messed up.
Fuck, because it feels tough. Because go on.
Here's a picture. Apparently, the tweet was Saudi E-League DQ'd us for following the correct ban procedure.
Wait. There were two sets of tweets. There was the tweets that he posted at the time of the tournament back in September, and there was a tweet he posted on the day of the announcement of the fine, both of which have been deleted.
Right. Well, this would have been. I mean, the one that I just read would have been on the day.
That would have been the one that got him
the
fine, right?
The DQ. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Sorry, carry on. I just wanted to add, clarity.
Because maybe the misinformation is that they were following the correct ban procedure, because they weren't following the correct ban procedure for the SEL. And to be fair, those do sound like 30,000 star words. Now that I think about it more deeply.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, like, it's hard to put a price on these things, but like, if I was to put a price on it, I'd probably around about 30,000 star.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, like in the spirit of clarity and whatnot.
So, capitology anyway.
After all that,
works for me.
All right.
Yeah, why not?
Fork.
Yeah,
we should thank Red Eyes first for being our #1 Patreon fan, supporting us all the time, making it all possible.
Without you, my life would be worthless.
Jeez, that's grim.
Would you say your life is on the line and it's in Red Eye's hands, Chris?
Yes. If you ever stop subscribing to the Patreon, I'm in serious trouble. Not to give you any guilt or anything, but
not to apply any unnecessary pressure and stakes, but you know how we feel about stake law.
Stakes in it.
Yum.